All right. So, where do I even begin on this? So, if anyone's noticing already, and Gresh, you're going to have a little bit of a delay, so I do apologize for any delay that you have. I was not prepared to have more than one person commentate today.
That's okay. I'm pretty sure a lot of what I have in mind is not required to see what's going on right here, right now.
Perfectly fine. So, Gref, you have played a little bit of this randomizer, have you not?
Yes, back when you first released it, I was poking around there trying to not break everything, but we found some very interesting things in there. But even from the start, this was looking very promising with the different options available for what was being shuffled around.
Yes, and basically, if you're looking over a kite stream, yes, he did look at the dancing girls. He wasn't trying to be a menace or anything like that. Basically, there are musical hints in this game in three specific spots that tell you where the rings are. So the object of this game is you have to find the 5 rings of stars in order to open the final dungeon, and they could be anywhere. And the musical dancing girls there, the music that plays will determine where possibly one of the rings are. So, as you notice, we actually started off with 5 completely random characters from the game. So we have good old Raja, we have Alice, Chaz, Kira, and Demi. And in this particular seed as well, abilities are randomized, so everybody doesn't have what they would normally have. They may get a piece or two, but there's where was I going with that anyway? A lot of things randomized. You can see Chitin over there taking a look at some of the shops and seeing what they have. Shops are randomized, and as per request from some people, we have tiered shops. Graf, have you actually played with the tiered shops yet?
Actually, no. This was a feature I never got a chance to play with here. I saw someone mention that there was already a guard shield right off the hop there, but I didn't notice it in a store yet. So I've been trying to watch. Oh, guard mails, guard shields, guard robe. There we go. So we already got a good source of things to buy later if we need to.
Yeah, so that's the strongest armor sets in the game are the guard stuff, and as you can see, they're quite expensive, even with randomized, or excuse me, scaled prices. The tiered shops basically mean that every shop contains a certain set of items, so like titanium items or ceramic items, Laconia, or in that case, the guard items. Basically to make it so that you are like, okay, where did I find this item? Let me go buy it here. It just makes things quite a bit easier.
Yeah, I definitely found while playing this originally, it was nice to just have a notepad document open. I just wrote down, if I saw something good, I just wrote down town and the item, so I can at least reference it later. And I see Chitin's checking the side shop there that has the extra little added goodies I believe you added into this to help alleviate some things for runners.
Yes, with with the tiered shops, that could still be anything though. So I'm pretty sure Dumpster is liking what he saw in the wreckage, which I believe he got the Alcidian out of the panel. So that's an amazing find right off the bat, because the Alcidian is Chaz's strongest weapon. But in this particular game, it also unlocks the Anger Tower, which it did that in vanilla too. But all you need to do is have the Alcidian in order to be able to access Anger Tower. You know, I probably should put up the spoiler log so I remember where things are, because everything happens so fast.
But that would be a spoiler.
Yes, for that. I mean, I've already played this scene. I vetted it. I just don't remember anything about it.
I see some checking of spells there. I saw D-Ban was on Chaz, so that's a starting point. A couple of arouse is available, but that'll be kind of hit and miss.
Yes, and
when that may be useful till later.
Yes, and in this particular game, definitely your transportation spells are quite important, and we see that we have access to the spaceport right off the bat too. So every planet and everything is available from the start to fly to, except the air castle. You do need the arrow prism in order to get to the air castle, which I probably should at least tell everyone to remember to save before using the arrow prism, because there's still a little bit of an issue with that.
Yeah, I see Dumpster now is taking advantage of said spaceport and has already gone off to another planet to go just check all the easy grabs that are available.
Yes, the Silence Temple definitely has some items here, and it looks like Chitin's going for the easy experience right off the bat, taking on Iglanova.
And I'm assuming in this seed they're also playing with there's no random encounters enabled, so it has the bumped up XP on bosses to try to counteract that.
Yes, so there's a couple things to counteract that. One, you get the increased experience with bosses. It's a 6-time multiplier. Actually, it's a 6-time multiplier on all enemies. And a cap, of course, because it does cap at 4 bytes worth of stuff there. Where else? Oh, and the other thing is there's an item that is called the Magical Lamp, and what that does is when you use it, it gives you a random encounter based on where you are, so you can use that and grind out levels as need be.
Yeah, I remember when you were first putting it in, that was a very interesting item to really amplified, because once you found a spot that you're able to do, you can just sit there for a little bit if you wanted to, or if you're exceptionally brave, wait till the last dungeon's available and grind in there.
Yes, and there was a little thing that Dubster did find out that I didn't fix originally, but I didn't originally fix it, but I intend to actually leave it in there, and in that we do seem to have a little bit of an issue. Let me see if I can fix this. Dumpster, what happened? Can't be me, is it?
Here,
it's probably me. Let me refresh the stream. Oh, I just refreshed it. It was me. Yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't get VLC or stream things to work right. So now this one is Dumpster's fault. I'm blaming him. We're gonna go right over to Chitin then. Chitin. Aha.
I guess to answer a question there in chat there about Bad Karma, these are the 5 characters that you have for the entire game. There is no switching out of characters in here. What you see is what you get.
Yeah, I did not figure out how to do that yet. I may do it in the future if I can ever be smart enough to do that much, but we'll see how that goes. Dumpster, let's see, what is going on with you? This is fine. We're just gonna sit here and say this is fine.
This is fine.
This is fine. So, right now, cutscenes, another thing to mention, all the cutscenes have been eliminated, so you could basically just go wherever at that point, which is why when Dumpster went to Zealand, he saw Ren. Ren gives you an item, and it's all happiness at that point. Because NPCs, some of them will give you an item, some of them will give you a key item, so it's always good to check what these sometimes are called safe spots.
This is for everyone who had a toasted cheddar chalupa and thought, wow.
Toasted cheddar chalupas, oh my god.
Oh my, I'm hungry. But it's very interesting because right now, as it was kind of alluded to earlier, would be that the skills and techs that people have, you can't assume anymore. You can't assume that Demi has barrier, for example, right now. So there's going to be a lot of juggling and trying to figure out what's going on and get some levels to see what people even have to begin with. Because you have no idea what your boss strategies are even going to be later.
Yeah, that's the thing, because everything's randomized. For all you know, Raja doesn't have Blessing, he may not have anything, but at the very least, he might have Medjit at the end of this, and Raja with Medjit is impressive.
Yeah, that would definitely be good for a laugh with his mental stat.
Yes, so everything else is pretty much kept the same with as far as stats go and how basic mechanics of the game go. As you also noticed, everyone starts at level 1. There's an option to allow you to initialize characters, and it basically puts everybody at level 1. It took me a bit of tinkering around in order to come up with the formula to be able to do it, because characters like Raja and Kira, Ren, Seth all start at a much higher level. Which is why, if you take in the formula and everything like that, mathematical stuff, Kira starts out at 7 HP, so you can see she's pretty weak, but she has a pretty good growth, so she balances out. She just you might want to protect her first thing. Oh yeah, that's one thing we probably should have mentioned. Hydrofoil, we have it.
Yeah, the best ship to be drunk on, no matter how sober you are.
Yes, who needs a free Enterprise when you have free hydrofoil? Those are more fun anyway, right? Just cruise along the water. It looks like Chitin is happy with his Alcidian, so he now has access to the Anchor Tower as well.
Yeah, I guess that would be a place that you could actually go right now and just go check it out.
Technically
the other two towers as well.
He could, but remember, there is a boss in Anchor Tower. It's not rephased like we're all like we all remember from our youth of playing this game. It is actually you will fight Alice in the Anchor Tower, and she probably would still wreck everybody right at this point.
Yeah, I guess my line of thinking was, to me, especially once you have the ability to enter Anchor Tower, it is 3 towers that you don't even have to go to the boss room. As long as you know where it is, you can just go and clear it all out and just get a whole bunch of items potentially. You
definitely could go ahead and hope you're getting some good items out of that, especially with not having to worry about encounters. The option for incentivized bosses is on for this particular seed, so in order to get key items, they will have to go to the objectives of each dungeon.
Mm-hmm. I haven't noticed that Titan managed to get a hand on guard armor, so now Demi is going to be a beast on the front line right now.
Yes, she will. She will definitely be quite tanky, especially in these early stages of the game. You have Dumpster here now taking a look at a grandfather door and seeing what item he had. Spoiler alert: nothing important.
Yeah. See what else is hiding in the ye old slug cave that many of us despise or love, depending on how we're doing on the speedrun.
Well, there were no slugs. We'll at least put it that way.
Woohoo!
Speedrunners rejoice.
Let's see. So where are people going? So checking out the basement. Oh, went over to Zealand now, so they're gonna start checking that out. Don't recall seeing anything spectacular in there, but those text boxes go really quick.
They definitely do, especially if you're mashing through. I believe these two have a gentleman's agreement not to use turbo in this,
okay.
So that is wonderful. It's just, how fast can my eyes go? Another spoiler alert, not very fast.
Okay, there's a reflect shield there. That is definitely not a bad pickup at all.
Reflect shields.
I recall that is one of the highest, if not the highest, shield with the most magic defense.
Yes, and it is the strongest shield that Kira can actually use in this randomizer. Where's it going? Yes, it's the strongest shield she can use. Okay, so Ren had the Arrow Prism.
Okay.
So a little thing about the Arrow Prism is that is how you get into the air castle. All you have to do is stand outside on a planet, use the Arrow Prism, boom, you're there. With any luck. For some reason, and I haven't figured this out yet, it worked fine with me yesterday, but I always recommend saving before I'm using it the first time anyway. Gregory's volume's a little higher than mine. Alright, let's see if I can fix that.
It may have something to do with I'm just loud.
That could be too. I'm naturally soft. That's just the way I am. So the Arrow Prism, for some reason, all it does is it teleports you to the air castle as long as you're on the outside. Depending on the RAM value in the game, sometimes it can take like 2 minutes for you to warp. No one said teleporting was a fast thing. I mean, we had to wake up Scotty and have him beam us there, but he had to make his coffee first, and he'll eventually get there after a couple minutes. But at that point, it'd still be faster to reset or save and reset at that point. It's something we're still looking at, and by we, I mean mostly right now. And by looking at, I mean I put it in the back burner right now because it still works. It's just finicky. Because you'd be surprised how finicky things can get when you're messing with code.
Who would have thought?
I never would have thought this.
Absolute madness.
So we have Titan. It looked like he went to Ryun and checked the bar at Ryun. The bar in Ryun also has one of the musical hints. Also, the bar in Kaderi on Matavia has it, and a lot of people don't know the bar actually exists in the Kaderi. It's actually right next to the house with a chest on the outskirts of town, but it will give you a musical hint and give you kind of an idea of where to go.
Yeah, so that was, I think, a feature I'd never got to play with. Since I mentioned earlier, the magic lamp, the item to summon encounters, was kind of the last thing I was familiar with. Were there any other items that you added in as quality of life things as well?
Aside from, what I did add was items that give buffs. So if we remember in the vanilla game, we have the Swift Helmet, the Power Shield, and the Molly Shield, which can cast a ban. Those are all great, but we still lack an item that casts Barrier and Vision. So I made 2 items in the game, the Cyber Suit and the Color Scarf, which will cast Barrier and Vision respectively. They're moderate levels, but they will cast it, especially if you get into a case where you don't have anybody who can use those abilities.
Yeah, that's definitely a very nice thing, especially now with the randomized. Sorry, I'm interrupting you.
No, that's fine. I was also gonna mention that these buff items, aside from the Power Shield, now also grant the buff to everybody in the party, even though the visual only shows one person, which I can't figure that one out for the life of me either. We'll get there, though. We'll get it.
But yeah, definitely. That was one thing I remember seeing and realizing once I started fiddling around with the randomized what skills and techs people got. Just having those items, that is, you have access to at least something. It may not be as strong, but it's still there for the buff spells. It is such a nice bonus.
Yes, a plus 48 to magic defense is better than a plus 0. I will put it that way. It's not going to be as strong as like Ren casting Barrier at certain levels, but it should be enough to mitigate. Usually in those cases, you'd want a few more levels than what you would use in like a speed run.
Yeah, definitely.
So Chitin being brave and going level 4 Sandworm at this point. And it looks like Dumpster's doing the same thing.
What is this? Strats from 4 years ago?
Right, I was going to say, those were old vanilla strats 4 years ago, but we didn't have Chaz swinging and missing. That's typical vanilla Chaz. So, another thing I do want to mention, Vision. It was useless in vanilla. It now actually scales off of the caster's dexterity stat. So basically, Vision now will help increase your crit chance. The reason that was put in there was because sometimes you may have physical characters who don't have a really strong physical ability to use, like crosscut or double slash. Chaz may not learn crosscut. But having a higher crit chance will help improve his damage output. Ooh, Alice kicked the bucket there.
Oh. Alice takes 21 damage, Raja was taking 1 damage. We know where the armor was.
Oh, yes.
Oh, there's the reset. Okay, that was the bail.
Yeah, so because everybody starts at level 1, and with initializing characters, every character now also has the same rate of... ignore the talk on that, I haven't bugged that out yet. But everybody gains... everybody's XP charts are the exact same, so no one's going to out-level anybody else.
Yeah, it's a very nice bonus. At least you know roughly that, okay, level 5 over here, level 5 over here, 25 over here, I'm going to be 25 over here, and you don't have to do this weird juggling act like in the base game if you try to do anything that you could run into.
Yeah, and because the XP is at a 6-time multiplier, you can see exactly how much experience you get, and then he was awarded with a silver helmet from the Sandworm owner. So you kill the Sandworm, talk to the owner, you get a prize. All of the Hunter's Guild bosses are available to fight right from the beginning. The only difference is that the Valhalla Fort boss it's available, but in order to get the Valhalla Fort, you need an item called the Access Key. The access key allows access to both Plate System and Valhalla 4. So as long as it's in your inventory, you can get in.
See, I have the catch from when Dumpster finished Sandworm there. I only caught 2 skills and texts. Saw Browse, but I did see a Warcry, and I didn't see who got it. So I'm very curious to see where that is, because that is always a fun ability to have.
Yes, a Warcry is really, really good, all things considered. It increases the caster's strength by, increases the caster's attack power equal to their strength. Normally, in vanilla, it's Grizz who gets this, and Grizz has a really high strength, so he gets a huge boost out of it. But anybody in this game who can use Warcry can make good use of it.
And just having to catch as well there, I saw Githu, I saw a Corrosion, I saw a Miracle. So we're starting to see some heavy hitters now showing up now, especially from Corrosion. If Corrosion's on a good person, that will be a big difference right there for killing some bosses.
Yeah, Corrosion does quite a bit of damage, even though it's on a neutral element. So Sar, Highness. So if someone's got Highness, that's great, because it's not guaranteed that you're going to have transportation magic, and having to walk back from a dungeon is painful. If you're at the end of a dungeon, you want to be able to just get out of there. Thankfully, both of them actually checked the shop in Nalia, and was able to get it. So we now have our good old pal Juza, but no one's got Barrier. So this could be interesting as long as he's got some... if he's got some armor, Juza's usually not a problem, but the reason he's going to Zeos 4 is he's going to find Demi, even though, yeah, Demi's in the party. Demi is still actually caught up in Zeos 4. You rescue her, you'll get an item. Simple as that.
And I haven't noticed that we actually... sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just noticing that they're just trying to piece together what people are having right now. We gained some good attack text, and we have 2 people with Ataraxia as well, so we can actually restore TP during battles as well. So I think both players are going to really enjoy their access to text and not necessarily having to worry about running out of resources.
And we have with Demi the first ring, the Dizo ring, was being held on to. So one thing I was going to mention about Zeos Fort. In Vanilla, if we remember correctly, after you finish Nervous, Zeos Fort was destroyed. That is not the case in Randomizer, because if that happened, you may have some items that may have lost. So there's no dungeon that becomes inaccessible because of story plots or anything like that. Garubrik Tower is the same way.
Just a lot more exploring right now.
Alright, so it looks like... Oh, what is he finding here? Some more telepipes and escape pipes? Yes, so one thing you don't want is you don't want to go to Tono without a telepipe, and you don't want to go to the weapon plant without a telepipe, because it's a long walk back if you don't. So good old Grandfather Doran had a plasma field, which is a very, very good shield. Speedrunners will utilize that.
Swear up and down by it.
Oh yes, let's not... triplets would be impossible without it.
Yep.
So the Diesel ring is one of the 5 rings needed in order to access the edge. It's also... The 5 rings are also the best helmets in the game. Diesel ring's bonus is it gives a little bit of extra mental stat, but it also grants a resistance to ice, which is very important for Grizz. So if you have Grizz in your party, you're probably going to want to equip him with a Diesel ring, because Grizz has got a weakness to ice. Yes, Vodus, that is correct. Alice can be taken to the end of the game, and by the way, one of the other characters in the game is in fact Seth. He's not in this particular seed, but Seth is able to be played from beginning to end as well.
That's actually a very good point I didn't even consider about asking about, because right now we're seeing a party of 5 that are randomized, but if I recall correctly, when you're, say, generating your own seed, you can actually have less than 5 if you want to, and also you can either have some of them randomized, some of them you can be like, yo, I want to run in this party, and then randomize the rest, or whatever combination you see fit.
Right now, it's actually not possible to have less than 5. You actually have to have 5, but what you can have is you can have multiple copies of the same character.
Yes, you can have the legendary 5 Chazes.
Yes, the 5 Chaz party is a thing. It's a little disclaimer though: macros are broken with that, so I would not use macros. And damage is shared between. Is basically shared. So if you're hit with an AoE that does 100 damage per, that basically means everybody takes 500 damage. GG.
Oh, gotcha.
Chitin over here, though, is someone who is he quite enjoys a good challenge, and Chitin has actually gone through many of these characters with with basically a solo run with a single character, and has beaten Profound Darkness with it, but it normally requires a level 99 grind at least.
Oh.
Yes, you can either choose to randomize a party of 5. If you let the randomizer do it, they will make sure you don't have any duplicate characters. Or you can choose characters that you want. You can choose, or you can mix it. You can have, like, I really want to seed with Rune today. I don't know why anybody would say that, but we'll just say it for the sake of it. You could choose Rune for one of the slots, and the randomizer will pick the rest of them. Say you want, let's do a double Android run. We'll put Ren and Demian. I don't know why anybody would want to do that either, but you know, you can make a double Android thing. Or if you say you want 3 Rens and 2 Grizzes, you can do that too. The same thing applies though with the damage sharing. But at the same time, XP sharing is a thing too. So if the game says each character gains 10,000 experience, basically your characters all gain 5,000. So it's really weird how the game works like that, but it's a thing for sure.
Actually, I'm impressed. It took only 27 minutes for our first macro to be seen and made. Finally, granted, it was just a buff macro. But yeah, that's a part I always enjoyed while doing the randomizer, was thinking about what kind of macros could be useful and building them and adjusting them as you go and other abilities start unlocking. So it'll be very fun to see what they evolve into over time and who has what.
Yeah, definitely macros are still quite usable here, but you won't see them used nearly as much as you would probably see them in a speed run. They're probably going to be used as much as you would play if you were playing casually anyway, but they're still very handy, especially if you have a specific objective to do.
Yeah, I guess maybe my mind was more drifting toward the end game with Profound Darkness, because there's 8 macro slots, and usually every single one has some sort of use if you can think about it.
Yeah, and mostly anyone who's ever speedrun the game, you have your buff macro, because we know Profound Darkness loves to cancel things. And then you have healing macros based on certain things. So we got Dumpster over here going to Ladea Tower, breaking the barrier, and we're going to see what's in the Cycle Wand chest. But first, we have a fight.
Why can't we be friends?
Okay. It's like there's no friends with this thing.
No,
looks
God,
like
no.
looks like Titan's also got the same idea of going to Ladea Tower. Because right now their options are sort of limited as to where they can go right now, and they're slowly starting to run out of places on Matavia they can go. Without the Psycho Wand, they can't enter Nervous. And Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to make the comment. I was just kind of drifting and watching and noticing that both of them now are kind of going in story progression direction right now, just to cover, okay, what's the easiest boss, and work our way up the chain until something unlocks that they can go and be like, oh, what are the easy checks over there for that? So it's going to be fun kind of seeing the story unfold again normally, but for completely different reasons.
Yes, and they definitely still need some more items to unlock. The Alschlein, if anyone remembers in Vanilla, the town of Zima is completely turned to stone. Well, it still is in Randomizer, and it looks like Dumpster just got some money. Ooh, Chitin is grinding with the magic lamp a little bit, by the looks of it. Now, what was I talking about? I don't remember what I was talking about. Chitin! Yeah, you made me lose my train of thought. It got derailed.
Unfortunately, I didn't see what was grabbed at the top of the Dea Tower
yes.
there, but
it was just money.
It was just money. Okay.
Just money. Oh, yes, so the town of Zima is still turned to stone, and actually, you can't even get into Birth Valley if you go into Zima, so that's a little bit different there. But if you have the Alschlein, what you do is, in town, you use it as an item. The town completely recovers from the stone, and you have, at that point, access to both Birth Valley and the Biolab. So you need the Alschlein in order to get into that. So the items still have some use as far as what they can do. Again, we mentioned the access key with 2 dungeons. The Alschlein accesses 2 dungeons. And of course you need the Ice Digger in order to even get through most of the Zoras. You can still go into Hangar and that's it, but the Alcidian gives you Anger Tower, the Cycle Wand gives you Nervous, and then we have Arrow Prism to get in order to get to Air Castle, and the Eclipse Torch still gets you into Garubik Tower. Yeah, so what Chitin did there, this is one of the funny things about the Magic Lamp, is that it will take you back also to the last transition point. Not sure why it does that, but in the meantime, we're allowing them to use that.
Yeah, it's there. Why
it's
not?
there. And sometimes you don't necessarily need it unless you, gotten to a dead end or something and want to use it that way. The other thing, and Dumpster discovered this because I thought I had fixed it. Evidently I didn't, but I am keeping it in. The Magic Lamp was actually written over the Dynamite item. So, because it was written over Dynamite, and I thought I had fixed that, but it can still be used in battle as Dynamite. And it's continually usable, at least as far as I know. I think. I have not used it in battle as Dynamite, but I said, well, let's just keep it there. A little unintended thing. And it only does like 100 damage, but it's, sometimes items are better than nothing.
Yeah, if that's found early on, that's actually a pretty healthy item to have right at the beginning.
Definitely. Now Dumpster's doing a scary play to me right now. He's going for Fat Chocobo. So this is King Rappy, also known as Fat Chocobo. And much like Fat Chocobo, King Rappy has an item. The only thing is, King Rappy has an ability called Earthquake, and it hurts. Earthquake's mitigated by damage or by magic defense, and without barrier, this could be extremely difficult. He might be hoping that having enough guard gear will be enough to help him.
Yeah, that was my thinking. So I'm very curious to see how this pans out.
Or just hope that, he just relies on physical attacks.
48 damage. We must miracle.
Miracle. Yep. So one thing I do want to mention is there's an option in this called balance items. Balance items gives you does a bunch of things to a bunch of different items. Basically, either makes some items a little weaker or nerfs them a bit. They may buff some of the items a bit. It gives more armor to Seth and Han, who usually don't have a lot to begin with. But one interesting thing that it does have... Oh, he low-leveled King Rappy. He got lucky. An Earthquake would have annihilated him.
Yeah, it was a
and he got to die.
Going in.
He just got to die mate for his troubles. Kill the bird for a for a mid-level healing item, by the way. And he didn't kill the bird; he just went away. There's no killing of chocobos here. But as I was mentioning, one of the things that balancing items does is it makes a class of legendary items. And these legendary items, they're strongest for each particular type. So the Alcidian, which it doesn't really do anything to Alcidian. It's the strongest sword, and it's Holy Element. Silver Tusk is Holy Element, and it's got a little bit more attack to it to make it the strongest weapon. Photon Eraser, the Defeat Axe, which is now known as the Victor Axe. Shoutouts to Phantasy Star Online. The Male Dagger, the Moon Slasher. They're all buffed. Daggers and slashes are buffed in general. But they all also have the Holy Element. So this was made more so to give characters who don't have a real means of contributing to anything, at least they can attack and still deal a respectable amount of damage. Balance items also will... it increases the attack power of rods for both Raja and Rune. So they're still slightly weaker than swords, but they give a little bit of a better defense option and a better attack option. So Dumpster's over here now. He's going to be grinding Valhalla Fort with the magic lamp. So he's hoping to be in almost a pseudo-go mode is what I kind of want to call it.
I wonder if the plan is just to crank it up that last little bit of a few more levels and really start pushing elsewhere where he feels that maybe he's a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm thinking, his options right now, Soldier's Temple, which that's dangerous at low levels. We all know and love Dark Force 3. Air Castle, which we all love Lashik. And Rycross, which has he could probably do Anger Tower easy enough right now. A few more levels he probably could easily get Strength and might be able to get Courage Tower down. Any rando player of this right now knows Saluz, which is the boss of Courage Tower, is not fun. he is a jerk. And a massive jerk at that too.
So I happen to notice that some of I guess my eyes are just kind of picking out a lot of the big things right now. I saw Saint Fire come into the picture now too, so we got even more wonderful attack skills coming in.
Yes, so Raja's got Saint Fire, I believe. No, actually, there's a couple others that can use it. So, unfortunately, the way ability randomization works, it's kind of character dependent. Techniques, anybody can use any technique. That's not a problem. Demi, Ren, and Seth don't have TP, so they don't have any techniques to use. Skills, on the other hand, are very limited based on who can use what. And there are some skills that everybody can use, which Flare, Barrier, Blessing, is a small list of them. But most of them can only still be used by the same person. It's basically because of animation restrictions. Like, you're not going to see Grizz use Crosscut, as much as I would love to see that. You would think he could, because he does kind of have an animation for it. But then there are some that can cross over, like Alice can use Saint Fire. So it's interesting to see where some of these things are. But here's the thing. Even though both Rune and Kira can use Tandil, they can't use each other's Tandil. Because they're actually coded in the game differently. So Kira has to have her own Tandil, Rune has his own. It's the same with Hyun and Flay Lee.
Okay. Well, I think we got the... Sorry.
The gist of it, anyway.
Well, I guess we got our answer for what that little grind was for now, was just rampage around to go take on Dark Force 1 by the looks of it.
Yes, he's going to make quick work of Dark Force 1 at this level.
The part I'm worried about is he missed the chest.
Oh.
And I am worried what is in that chest that's on the left when you can go left or right. At one point for the elevator, the left one has, I believe, the Zirconium armor for Ren in the base game.
Yes, it very well could. It very well could have had some armor to it. It's not going to have a key item because the key items are locked to the incentivized, basically the objective of the dungeon. So where the objective here is to fight Dark Force 1, that's basically the purpose of it. Is you'll get your key item from that.
yeah, I guess my brain's still locked in when they could be anywhere before in the early days.
I mean, you could not check off the incentivized option, and they could still be anywhere. So it just depends on what option you want. Different flavors, and good lord, we got kind of a sync up going right here, right now, between Chitin and Dumpster.
Yeah, it looks like they're getting the same ideas right now, and kind of similar to what I was mentioning earlier, that they're just kind of working their way through the story fights again, because that's the easiest thing they can potentially do right now. However, fighting Dark Force 1 at level 27 is a little different than what I'm used to seeing.
Yes, and Chitin looks like he's at a little bit of a lower level. I didn't get a quite good look at what level he's at.
But he's 21, actually. I just saw it.
Okay, so 21's still a decent. It's still, you know, higher than the level 17 Chaz we're all used to. But the thing here also is Demi's got the Photon Eraser, which is now Holy Element. Chaz has Alcidian, which is Holy Element. Take a quick gander here in a moment and take a look at how much damage Chaz is going to do.
Oh, there's going to be swinging for the fences on this.
Oh, yeah.
Assuming it hits. Oh, wait, no, crosscut. It will hit. Haha.
Yep. So, these kids can do quite a bit of damage, and Dark Force is weak to Holy. So, nearly 500 damage. I've seen this hit for. I've seen crosscuts hit for like 600 something if he's buffed and leveled up enough. But the problem is also, even though he's dealing a ton of damage to him, he still does not have barrier.
Yeah, that is a very good point. There's no barrier at all, so a lot of these things are hitting really hard despite the kind of equipment that they're using right now.
Yes, it's and the options are starting to become very limited as to where they can go. They need some progression soon. They need Ice Digger, or Ice Digger would be the best they can get, but unfortunately, it wasn't to be here.
Oh no. Alright, so where would be the plan then? Like, my gut, for some... Actually, no, that wouldn't work, because as you mentioned, it's incentivized items here, so just going rampaging around on Rycross won't net anything of use.
No, he may find something on Rycross if he decides to take out the Guardians, but I mean, in this situation where you've got literally... Oh, I was gonna say, did Chitin have to restart? Oh
no!
He restarted and had to go way back to Ladea.
Oh, that is heartbreaking to see.
Oh, you hate to see it, folks. You hate to see it.
That's unfortunate. So I guess...
So, Dumpster's options right now, Soldier's Temple, Air Castle, and the 3 Rycross dungeons. Where would you go at this point?
Right now, because I know they have access to D-Band, I would actually think making a beeline for Courage Tower right now, because the level is not that much of a stretch, I think, and you got the defensive buff as well, since it's all physical damage. So I don't think
Strength Tower, because that's the one with
Strength
Tower. Like Courage Tower, it's like, oh, Courage Tower is not fun.
No, that is anti-fun. That place is meant to end you if it so desires.
Yeah. Thankfully, the boss of Strength Tower is relatively simple, as long as you know his pattern. Courage Tower, depending on your party composition, Courage Tower can wreck you. And that's why Devars for Randomizer is not a fun boss to try and fight. He could do Anger Tower as well. Anger Tower will net him an item, because he does have the Alcidian, and Alice is really not a tough boss. She just hits hard. But she doesn't have a lot of HP.
Yeah, and even though the animation for it looks like that it's a boomerang hitting everybody, it only hit, this is how I remember it only hit one person still, and if that one person's tanky enough, then yeah, it should be a pushover.
Yeah, she does have a high crit chance, but you know, it's still a quick battle to do as long as you just DPS her down quick.
Yeah, so I think to answer that question, I think 2 of the towers on Rycross, that would be my goal right now to go to. Even though they may not necessarily net anything, it's still high value experience that you can get and just crank yourself up even more and make it easier for anything else you're trying to fight.
Yeah, and that'd probably be the easier thing to go through, especially if you don't have barrier and you haven't been able to find it in any shops yet. Or the cyber suit, basically. Air Castle is also a possible play, but at this particular level, Lashik can be a menace. If you have the guard equipment, one of the things Balance Item does is it gives more magic defense to the guard robe. So it actually makes the guard robe worth wearing to anybody who use it.
Yeah,
so,
is there anything locked behind triplets in Air Tower?
There is nothing locked behind triplets, unfortunately. I did not have the ability to put anything there, but there are 2 items in Air Castle that you can get. One in the Aeroprism chest, and Lashik carries one as well. Soldier's Temple is the same way. The Aeroprism chest will give you an item, and Dark Force 3 gives you an item.
Yeah, so that is probably, I would consider, the most dangerous dungeon in this randomized right now, is trying to go after Dark Force 3. For that is booty, because
at least Dark Force 3 in this randomized, you have 5 characters to fight him with.
That is true. That is a nice bonus.
I will say, though, if you don't have an Android or Seth in your party against Dark Force 3, getting hit with Mind Blast is not fun because he could stun lock you.
Yeah, that would be really bad, and just straight up not having barrier as well. It's just making that fight an absolute terror to even consider.
Yeah, which is probably at this point why Dumpster is grinding some extra levels. Kira has Tandle, and Tandle just wrecks through anything mechanical. So as long as she stays alive. There we go. That was a scary fight, though. Valhalla Fort's a really nice place to grind. To grind some levels, and if you have Kira with Tandle, yeah, she will annihilate everything. It's just Kira's Tandle is actually coded to be stronger than Rune's.
That's actually interesting. I never was aware of that.
Yep, it's kind of to balance them out where Kira has less of a mental stat, but her Hewn, Flaylee, and Tandle are actually coded stronger than Rune. When you're playing through the... I mean, if even at... The next time you play Vanilla, compare Rune's Hewn to Kira's, and you'll see Kira's actually will do more damage.
Don't challenge me. I was actually playing Phantasy Star 4 on the last weekend there, and I'll power it on and go check.
Flaylee's the same way, which is why even in the speedrun you end up going through... you end up using Kira's Hewn to do the Blizzard and Firestorm, and it deals quite a bit of damage that way.
Yeah, that does make sense. Yeah, and because to me it also makes, because I can't remember if on the double text and triple text, if you use the stronger version of a spell, like say for Blizzard, or even Firestorm for Fwa, Gifwa, or Nafwa, if you use the stronger version, does that affect the damage calculation?
I believe so.
Okay.
So if you use...
I love that.
Like
I assume that since Rune has access to those earlier, that's the reason why he's doing that, and save the Hewns on Kira there for that.
So he's making an Air Castle play right now, which you'll notice the first set of barriers in Air Castle are gone. This is basically so you don't have to traverse the whole thing, you can go straight to the triplets. The second set is there, you do need to fight the triplets in order to get to Lashik. This is not a bad move. He does have some extra levels, so he might be able to withstand Lashik's Another Gate. So Thunder Halberd's not that big a deal. The problem is Demi might take quite a bit of damage to it. She has a lower HP pool than Ren, but she's also got guard armor, so it could balance out.
Yeah, another unfortunate effect right now, because based on what I've seen right now, Debbie does not have access to recovery, so she can't even self-heal like she normally... Oh, she does?
Yep.
I didn't see that.
That's the only guarantee from the original, is that Ren and Demi will have recover.
Whew. Okay, because I saw a lot of miracle use earlier, and I was just assuming that this could be tricky.
Well, when I was gonna say when Debbie has photon erasure, I guess you don't want to. I guess you don't want to mess with that. So
I guess
It looks like Chitin went back and got his diesel ring. He's going. Oh, he's gonna grind over here. I thought he was gonna go for Dark Force.
I was gonna say, oh, that was a brave play right there.
That would be very brave at that level, especially.
I think I saw someone with a death spell as well. So having, if you can get the big slugs to show up, that's a pretty safe grind. Well, let's see what this triplet play offers.
Yeah, let me go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and switch audio real quick. There we go. Okay, this is fine. So, yeah, the triplets are quite an interesting fight. They have not changed from vanilla. So, Griff, do you want to explain the triplets fight?
Okay, so in the base game, and similar to this as well, if you use skills, if I recall this all correctly, if you use skills that hit all of them, they will counter with all three of them using one attack that hits everybody back. But if they're faster, they may have, one and two of them may do single target attacks. You got that AoE attack in, here's that AoE attack that comes in and just does a ton of damage. In the speedrun, our actual goal is to get everyone killed but Rika. Rika survives because of the wonderful plasma field to only take 1 point of damage, but you're hoping at that stage that you do so much damage with everyone slowly dying over a certain amount of rounds that Rico could just finish it off very easily without taking too much damage. So that's the part that gets very scary of if you don't get barrier up, for example, and some of them get turns in before the great AoE, you can just lose everybody in one go. This is one of the first fights you encounter in the speedrun that will just say, no, you're not passing go, you're not collecting $200.
Yeah, this is the triplets. Many speedrunner have lost to triplets just because of that. Bick could probably tell you a lot of things about the triplets. And by tell, I mean curse about it.
So let's see. My PB has a time of 151. So for a run that should take about, once you get really good, just a little under or a little over 3 hours, about 2/3 of the way in, the game will just say no. It's not allowed.
Yeah, and I mean up to Zio, the fight, the speed runs. The most challenging part of the speed run is basically slug grind and sandworm at that point. But everything up to that, Zio's pretty easy to take care of. Dark Force 1 can be easy as long as you get some decent luck on it, but after Dark Force 1 and Vanilla is when the game's speedrun turns it up 100 notches.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what Lashik has to offer on this. And this is actually just reminding me of one of the last times I did the randomizer and the wonderful little item that was hiding behind Lashik. It was a monomate.
Yeah, the monomate.
I was howling in laughter when I saw that.
This
and
is
crying as well because it wasn't anything useful.
This is what you get when in Phantasy Star 1 when you just have a bunch of burgers and try and deliver them to Lashik. It's like, I've been holding on to this burger for 2,000 years now that it's now become a monomate. And it's like, now you're taking my food from me. The laser barrier in the chest.
Level 35 for Lashik without barrier, still scary, but there's, as you mentioned earlier, I think there may be just enough HP to just power through this.
Alright, so he started off with Snow Crown. Snow Crown is basically revamped Male's shield, and it casts Ban. It's weaker than Raja's Blessing, but basically better to get, because Raja's so slow, sometimes it's better to get a weaker version off and then have Raja get the stronger version off. With the possession on Demi there. So, with this particular fight, because there's no barrier, Dumpster's gonna probably want to hope for Thunder Halberd complete, or just one after another. If he sees another gate, it's gonna hurt. At this level, though, he should survive it even unbuffed.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, and I saw that it was also, we have some Kisars lying around as well, and Miracle, so there's AoE healing available. So that's going to help a lot.
Yes, and there's Ataraxia too, so... Yeah, so Demi's, because she's got a weakness to the lightning, she's going to take a lot more damage than anybody else, and just keeping things topped off because another gate will hurt. Thunder Halberd is mitigated by defense upgrades, so which is why you're seeing Alice, Chaz, and Raja just laugh at it.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good right now. I would say with the suite of abilities that they have right now, as long as no one gets one shot, they should be able to survive this fight. Until Reinforce shows up.
Yeah, and especially with no Cycle Wand right now. Reinforce will give a +20 to all of Lashik's stats. But I think even at this level, with Sanner out, this should not be a problem to finish him off. He'll deal more damage with his abilities, but there's Reinforce. So that means he's got at 25% or less health. And we got Chitin grinding out some slugs over on Island Cave still. Not the best place to grind, but if Kira doesn't have Tandil yet, then it's probably a safer spot to go. Especially since he doesn't have access to Mistveil. In the Alshline,
we got progression. Hooray.
We do have some progression.
So that's 2 things that opens up?
Yes, technically 1, but there's 2 dungeons in it. So it opens up Zima. And which will give you 1 item, which is in the bio plant, but you do have access to Earth Valley as well, and the shops that Zima has to offer.
That would be true. Oh, looks like we may be in Rycross exploration mode now too, and just holding on to that Alshline for later.
Yep, it's like.
Where are you going?
Let's take a
Anger.
look. Let's take a look at Anger Tower and see what goes on. Again, there's a guard sword in there. It's like, I've got the Alcidian. Wreckage was kind enough to have it for me.
Thank you for more selling material to buy more Stardew's later.
Yep, pretty much. This is a brand new one. Go ahead, Graf.
Oh no, I was just gonna make a comment that for a lot of RPGs, I tend to shy away from items and not worry about items. This game has taught me that items are incredibly invaluable, such as Stardew's and Souldews. They are so wonderful to have.
And more progression at the Anger Tower with the Cycle Wand.
Alright, so Batavia has some options opening up there. That's great.
We'll see. It'll be interesting to see where he goes now. This is actually, for Kite, this is actually a good fight, but unfortunately being flamed to death. And Raja's got a fire weakness. So any flame attack with Raja will pretty much annihilate him unless he's got the motor ring. If he's got the motor ring, which it has fire resistance on it. So that's basically the ring you're going to give Raja. Plus it has plus it also has agility bonus, so
Dumpster's going with what I was originally wishing for, of just clearing out 2/3 of Rycross.
Alright, someone asked, where can we find this randomizer? That's a good question. I actually made a webpage for it, and I'm hoping it still works. Let me go ahead and get that, and I will post it on here manually, because I didn't have enough foresight to have a bot done for this. But let me pull this up. Oh, no, that's not where I want for... Back up. Pay no attention to the thing behind the curtain. Alright, so let me get the link somewhere. Link. Ganondorf's worst nightmares copy link.
Yeah.
So that is the website for the randomizer. All done in one single executable file. Just download it. Your antivirus may hate it, but trust me, it's not a Trojan.
I can vouch. I was seeing that before. Haven't had any problems except that one time. Never mind.
Yeah, as soon as I got rid of Avast and just went to Windows Defender, Windows Defender is much better with it, so...
Let's see. So what do we get from our big punchy boy here?
Oh yes, Devars. So, Devars only uses physical attacks, so you actually don't need barrier for him. And he will... this particular fight is really interesting, and in the speedrun, it's one of my favorite fights to watch, just because of how much you control the flow of the fight. Graf, would you mind talking about this fight?
I would love to. This fight is amazing more toward the end of the game, because it's a fight that once you're all set up, you can shut off the brain. You just don't even care anymore. All you have to do is just get D-Ban up. Once you have that, any skills you do, Devars here is going to punch everybody. And when he punches everybody, it hurts, but not a whole lot. And you can just use items like the Guard Rod to heal up everybody and start mitigating that damage. And you only care once you hit a certain threshold for Ren and Chaz for their HPs when they're about to get the one shot. And then you just full heal back up. And you rinse and repeat while beating the stuffing out of them.
Yeah, this is one of the few fights, even in a vanilla speedrun, that really is scripted to a point, because he will counter 100% of the time with Disrupt if you use a skill or a technique. So, a lot of nothing in Strength Tower, unfortunately, but Laconia Mail, a good upgrade. I think there was a Reflect Mail in there too, which a lot of... the Reflect Mail is a good alternative if you can't get Guard Mail.
Yeah, that would definitely be a close second in my books for armor for the late game.
Dumpster's having the same thoughts we are. Do not touch Courage Tower.
Yeah, you don't go there unless... I would consider Courage Tower and Dark Force 3 as the two last resorts. Because those ones, they're just things that can just go south so quickly.
Yes, Courage Tower. The boss of Courage Tower works a lot like the boss of Strength Tower, and if you do something in particular, he'll counter 100% of the time with a particular skill. The only thing is, we don't like the skill he uses because it hurts, even if you mitigate it with Barrier. And the boss of Courage Tower only uses magical abilities, so all you need to do is throw out Barrier, and you're good to go at that point. But the thing is, if you physically attack, or if you use just normal attack on that boss, he will counter with Legion, and that hurts a lot. Bouncing back from that is tricky, and that's particularly why that boss is so difficult, especially if you have Grizz in your party. Because Grizz doesn't have a lot in the way of skills or magic. He's basically your beat stick. And he only really can rely on physical attacks. So, he's definitely a place you don't want to go to if you can help it.
Definitely.
And going to Nervous right now is a good call because, there's a talking. This is one thing I wish I could do with the game, is I wish I could take away a lot of the just normal dialogue that you have. Unfortunately, all the text in this game is actually compressed. So, dialogue text is compressed. Some of the other text I can change, which was why we have items like the Snow Crown and Color Scarf and Magic Lamp. If I could, I would basically, if you ran the talk option, it would just say, "Hi, Dark Force," or something like that, just, or some random thing. I would have so much fun with dialogue in this game if I could. Thank you, RPGC. This took me and all the testers out there, and big thanks to Gref for co-commentating this with me, because this would be boring for everybody otherwise. Well, I wouldn't say boring. My voice would get boring, I should say.
Yeah, you definitely put in a lot of work onto this, and I just want to say, I've said it to you multiple times in Discord, thank you for the amount of work you put into this, because even though I haven't played this in a while, every time I've racked up to play one, I've enjoyed it every single time, and even if I hated myself at the end for what occurred to me, I still laughed at the end of the day.
And definitely also a big thanks to Chitin and Dumpster for offering to race this game and show off the capabilities of this to the public. And I can't thank the community enough for their support and everything that I've done for this, and testing and ideas. And there's going to be a lot more to come. This isn't the final release, but this is a good solid start anyway for our public. By the way, we got Zio now.
Yay, Zio! Music! I can't hear it because I have the stream muted, but let's see what he's got. But considering the firepower that's under the hood right now, this should be a very fast fight.
Oh yes. Once you get Psycho Wand, you can't actually go into Nervous without the Psycho Wand. So, Again, Dumpster making quick use, and we got the Palmer ring.
Okay, all right.
So-
Second ring.
Yep, very good, especially for Demi.
Oh yeah, that's
Both the Palmer and now the Right Cross ring actually have lightning resistance. So, no matter what party you have, there's you'll have a ring that can give him a resistance. So, yep, now he's going to go ahead and use the Allschlein.
excellent. Yeah, I was about to expect the cutscene to show up. I forgot you actually have to use it to trigger the cutscene.
Yeah, unfortunately, there are some things I had to change to make the item on use in order to trigger something.
Gotcha.
But whatever, it works. And we didn't have the arrow prism issue with Dumpster, so
Shh. Chitin still has to go there.
this is true. Chitin looks like he's now starting to grind Valhalla a little bit.
Yeah, alright, so at least he's gonna get catch up. Level 28, okay, that's not too bad.
Yes,
Versus level 36, I believe I saw for Dumpster.
Yeah, so Dumpster's at a good level. He could, and there's that random chest magic lamp.
Surprise!
Surprise! It was in Birth Valley. Because you could actually get the magic lamp in any chest. It's also an incentivized item, so you can get it there. We just want to make sure you can get it by some means.
Yeah, it's definitely something there that's very handy to get.
It definitely, sure.
Speaking of places that could also randomly end a run, nuts to this dungeon that is the bioplant.
Yeah, in a vanilla speedrun, this particular dungeon is very dangerous just because you are so low leveled and under geared that it becomes a big issue. There's a guard robe. Nice.
Nice find.
That is a very nice find. That saves quite a bit of money for having to buy that.
Yeah, that's two people that can use it by the looks of this team.
Yeah,
so
so we
that's
got
not going to go to waste.
one with a guard. Oh, that is something I probably should mention too. Is no piece of gear in this game would in fact be able to go to waste because the way the chest randomization and shop randomization is set up, it's set up to a point where it's only going to give items that can be used by characters in your party. So we don't have Grizz in this party. You may have noticed we had no axes, which is great because we don't have Grizz. That would be useless.
Actually, I was not quite aware of that. I don't know if that was a change that was done later, or I just wasn't paying attention at all. But that's actually very good to know.
Oh, that's big.
Anchor tower.
That is big progression for Dumpster.
Oh, hello, opening up an entire planet now.
Yes, I don't hear Dumpster right now, but I hear him very happy. Did Chitin just take out Saluz?
No, that was Anchor Tower.
No, that's okay. Anchor Tower. Yep, you're right. I was
Yeah,
gonna say.
I saw Alice up there, so now we know that Alshline has been grabbed over there.
Yes. So he is. Chitin's going back. He's like, I got Alshline, and he's gonna like what he finds with if he goes over to if he goes over there right now. He's gonna love the fact that the ice digger is gonna open up a lot for him.
And I think that's the plan right now.
Actually, no, he didn't get Allshine. He didn't get Allshine. He got Psycho Wand.
Oh, Psycho Wand. Sorry, I confused which was what and where.
That's okay. Allshine was in Air Castle.
Ah, yes. Okay.
Which he could do that. All right, so he's gonna. So we got Dumpster gonna check out Mist Veil right now, and hopefully the cat gives us something.
Mono made in the chest. That would normally be a tri-bait.
Yep, that's a downgrade.
That's another thing. I'm trying to remove myself. What would I do normally? But like, no, I can't do speedrun things right now. I have no basis in that right now. I got ideas, but it won't necessarily be applicable.
Oh yes, and so
What?
yeah, this is the one room I hate because you actually go up into a door, but you're coming down in the next room, and it's like the only place in the game that does that. Not Silver Rod. He's had the Silver Tusk all these years, hanging on to. He probably sat on it for a while. It just melted and became a rod at that point.
Yeah. Fortunately, not quite as good as the Silver Tusk by comparison.
No, not even close. But at least we got to see the cats.
We did get to see the cats, yes. Penguins!
Yeah, we get the penguins here too.
Actually, a friend of mine made me a perler of one of those penguins.
Oh, that's
as
so
I can
awesome.
see from my desk. It is great.
Oh, I love it. No, you can't sell the Psycho Wand dumpster. So legendary items cannot be sold.
However,
However, you can try.
On people. As much as it seems like it's a bit of a dead horse to beat to go back to the speedrun, but some of us like equipping the Psycho Wand onto Raja when he leaves the party just to get it out of our inventory because we don't want to see it anymore.
Oh yeah, the Psycho Wand has in randomizer has, as long as you check off balanced items, has a plus 120 attack. So it still will, physically it will still deal quite a bit of damage, and it's got quite a bit of defense to boot as well. It's still better to equip 2 shields on a spellcaster like that, but if Raja, right now Raja doesn't have too many attack options. He does have Saint Fire, but, oh, we found the perfume shop here. Ooh, cheap Stardews.
Yeah, I noticed the Stardews were pretty cheap earlier, so that's an excellent pickup to have later on.
Soul Dews have like a 5% markup, but
yeah,
you can't win them all.
But just by knowing where the Soul Dews are, that's still extremely handy as well, especially if you have no other ways of reviving. Because I don't know if there's been any Reavers showing up yet at all in people's tech lists.
Oh well, we haven't seen them. We haven't seen them die enough yet, so.
Nope. Immediately went to Hydrofoil. Wait a second.
Like I can't break through the ice here. Oh, yeah, Hydrofoil goes very fast, but it can't break ice. Hey, it's this guy again. What do you know? Oh, Chitin, are you having issues now? Chitin! We got the circular ring of death over here. Ah, wait. Oh, he's offline. Well, you know what? I'm sure he'll be back momentarily. Unless he rage quit. I don't think... Chitin doesn't rage quit, though.
He seems pretty stoic about things.
He usually is. Now, me, I mean, I made this. I would still rage quit at times.
Actually, I did not finish one because the grinding was just going to be absolutely ridiculous to try to defeat Profound Darkness and have a chance of surviving. So I just could have tapped out at that point.
Yeah, if you can't find Barrier, and there shouldn't be any reason why you can't get Barrier, because the Cyber Suit is... all of the buff items are considered incentivized items, so there will be at least one show up. You just gotta find it.
Gotcha. Okay. Let's see what else is hiding around here.
Press that for respects for Chitin.
It's actually also, that's another part I really liked about this randomizer, is seeing dungeons that I have not seen since I was borrowing my friend's Genesis back in high school? I think it was high school, maybe in junior high. And playing through casually, so realizing, wait, where can I go? What are the bosses? Where are the treasure chests in here?
Like Climate Center, what's that?
Exactly. Last time I saw that was at our RPG Limit Break last year.
Right? When a few of you were playing that one out. There was nothing in... Oh, Snow Crown.
Snow Crown, okay, so that's an item we've already seen.
Yes.
Already. So let's see, what does Mies and... Oh no, we can't even check this shop yet because a certain tower is still up and going.
Yes, so that one shop is locked until Gruberg Tower is destroyed. Rayshell also is locked. Once you defeat Gruberg Tower, that town unlocks, and it also unlocks at its full potential, unlike before where you actually had to finish off, I think, Soldier's Temple before Rayshell would be at its full potential. Basically, by that it means both shops open. Once you defeat Gruberg Tower in Rayshell, the armor shop's open. Once you get through Soldier's Temple, the item shop opens. But in this, all you gotta do is defeat Gruberg Tower and both shops are available.
Very handy. And speaking of things that are handy, a place that normally is laden with loot, the Esper Mansion, and also we get to go check to see what's hiding at the back of it.
Yes, the Sacred Sword Cave. No longer do you have to wait to the end of the game and for Rune to open it up for you to get in. Now you could just go right there and see what the goddess's statue is holding.
Yeah, and hopefully it'll be something that's going to be useful for a little bit more progression, but I guess we're kind of running out of the big opening items right now. We're just really on the hunt for rings, it feels like.
Rings and a few more progression items, but spoiler alert, it will not be the Alcidian because we already have it. And there's only going to be one running through it. I think Chitin was having a connection issue. So,
oh no.
Unfortunately. What do we have here? We have Algo Ring.
Ooh, ring. And this time we're not... well, I guess just to bring more jokes about the speedrun, when you get the item here normally, whatever Chaz has equipped gets overwritten. And in the speedrun, we have 2 shields equipped that if we don't have those shields, we're in big trouble.
Yeah.
So at least we don't have to run out of that problem.
You lose a lot of time otherwise.
You have to go grind up and buy more shields.
Yep, basically.
Because already at this stage, you already blew all your money buying Stardews and Soul Dews.
Yep.
Alright, so... ring number 3, 2 more to go, and then we get to see the fun.
Yes. And he's actually at a comfortable level right now to go through to Profound Darkness, but the only problem is finding a cyber suit, because at this level everybody's already gotten all their abilities and nobody's got barrier at this point.
Oh, so there actually is a set level that everything will be learned, no ands, ifs or buts about it?
Yeah, usually it's for everybody it's 40. Is after 40 they're not going to find much. Rune I think might have a couple of techniques after 40. There's the Motor Ring.
Oh, was that just chilling down there?
That was chilling right in Gumbius.
Oh, okay.
That was right in Gumbius. So now all he needs is the Rycross Ring.
Alright, so I guess... is he gonna go explore the weapon plant, mayhaps?
Could be in the weapon plant. He's gonna check out Jut. This is the last shop he can actually check right now, unless he actually were to take out Garubik, but he does not have the Eclipse Torch. So let's just hope it's that it's in here. And it's not in the armor shop, but the item shops can... There is one item shop in the game that's can carry the buff, all the buff items.
Also, there's one that's just randomly chosen as the buff item shop?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
And... oh, it's right here. Hallelujah.
Speak of, we found the goodies.
Yeah, and he's...
Okay.
the cyber suit, Swift Helm, it's all there.
Alright. So cyber suit, just to clarify, is the one that gives barrier?
Yes.
Use?
That is
Excellent.
the one that gives barrier.
So now with level 37 across the board and access to barrier, a lot of things just became a whole lot less scary in my book.
He could finish off Courage Tower, he could go to Dark Force. And we're still trying to get Chitin back online. He isn't showing up on Discord though, so I'm wondering what's going on. I think he lost his connection or something. He does sometimes complain about a bad connection.
Gotcha. So hopefully it's something that'll come back here soon, and he's not just fighting with trying to get it up and going and be able to keep pushing.
Right. Absolutely. So a lot of things have become a lot safer. So he's basically at this point just on the hunt for the Rycross Ring. And once he gets to that, the edge will open right up and he can finish the game.
Yeah, just based off what kind of equipment that I've seen so far, it's definitely just gunning for where the incentivized spots are. You to me, I would feel very confident, but just gunning, finding the last one, and then just go.
Yes, absolutely. Which in the weapon plant, there's no boss here, but there is a chest that in vanilla holds the burst rocket upgrade for Ren. That is the incentivized location for weapon plant. So you grab that. Also in the weapon plant, the terminal that gives unlimited repair kits is gone. I mean, the icon's still there and whatnot, but you can't access it. It doesn't give anything. Reason being is repair kits actually cost... ooh, the access key.
Okay, so that opens up a few options, because both Valhalla Fort and also Quake Control?
Yeah, it's a plate system in Valhalla Fort.
Plate system, sorry, yeah.
It'd be interesting to see which one he goes to first.
I'm bringing up the thesaurus to bring up the wrong names, but means the same thing.
Right. Gonna go to Matavia and he's gonna clear that out. But where he has a cyber suit now, he may just say, alright, I'm just gonna clear out Matavia right now. So he may even go to Soldier's Temple first thing. Get the extra experience from Dark Force that way.
Yeah, that's a real possibility.
We're gonna see where Dumpster decides to go.
Careful driving the hydrofoil.
It goes
I think it's Soldier Temple like you're thinking. He's looking for corrupt. Yeah. Almost there.
Almost. Like he's going to Soldiers.
Yeah, that would be...
Because no one's got Ryuka, telepipes have definitely become quite more important.
Yeah, that actually could be part of the reason why he came here, because he may have already, scribbled down that there's telepipes available here. Definitely has access to Heinous to get out of places.
Yeah, and escape pipes are definitely valuable, especially if you don't have Highness right off the bat.
My heart skipped a beat there when he was about to sell Stardew there. He's like, no, they may be cheap, but they're valuable.
Right, I think we have Chitin back.
Excellent, excellent. Yep, there we go. I see it on the feed now.
Alright, so last we left Chitin off, he did have the Psycho wand, which I've got to click on. Mouse, where are you? Oh, you're on the other monitor. There we go. Aha. Alright, so he's gonna go plate system first.
Alright.
And let's jam to plate systems music because I love the Bioplant music, which is the arrangement from the tower theme from Phantasy Star 1. I loved it so much I put it in a couple other dungeons.
Well, using that artistic license of yours.
Absolutely. Both Nervous and Plate System. And the Climate Center also have it. Basically, I figured any of the systems that control something on... give it a little bit of lore at that point. That control something on the planet should have this music. But why not?
Exactly.
I could have given it to Valhalla Fort too, but I'm like, can't have everything.
Yeah.
Wait for it. And cyber suit.
Oh, it was a cyber suit?
The cyber suit was in plate system.
Fantastic.
Oh, it's like all I had to do was just come here. But the thing is, it's just kind of bad timing where the weapon plant had the access key, which would get you the cyber suit, and the cyber suit was also sold in the town nearby.
Yeah. The usual. I better buy this because I don't think I'll find it anywhere.
Yep.
Found it. Alright, let's see what, again, a dungeon that I've never seen beyond the front door in a very long time. Let's see what's hiding in here now.
Yes, so the incentivized spot here is actually the terminal, which triggers the Dominator fight. Dominator fights at this level shouldn't be too difficult, but they do hit pretty hard, but we also have Kira who has Tandle, and the good news is that Dominators can be instant death through either Bros or Spark.
Sure.
Which the other two bosses that actually can be killed instantly, Iglanova can be killed instantly if you have Death Spell or something like that, and so can the Climate Control boss. You can use Death Spell on them and just wipe them right out.
Something I'll have to keep in mind for later in case I decide I need to play myself a little bit maybe after this.
You know, when we start the Profound Disorder Randomizer League, right?
Oh my.
Oh,
is it serious or?
It's the dream. It is the dream.
Okay. I figured I would just double check on that just to be sure here.
I would love.
I may have to get some reps in.
I would love to create something that would, either league or a tournament or something like that for this if we ever get enough people interested in playing. It is the dream, that's for sure. But we'll see how it goes. There's more things I do want to add to this over time. The next thing I'm going to be working on is actually randomized bosses. So you go into Piata Basement. Oh, wait a second, that's Dark Force 3.
Sad times.
Sad, very sad times.
Which is a very good point to bring up, that you did make an adjustment to this, so it allows you to save anywhere now, which is going to be a godsend in those kind of situations, especially under that plane.
Dumpster is in go mode. There was the right cross ring
There
right
it
there.
is. Okay.
Fearless Decoy, you can find out more about this at this wonderful website I am about to post right now. Boom.
Ta-da!
It's Lady Starboard Bot at its best. Dumpster's making some really good time. We're only at an hour 25.
Yeah,
I will say he's doing the seeds faster than I did. And I had the spoiler log.
Oh, well, wouldn't counter chickens yet, because still scary town as far as I'm concerned.
And Chitin's going right for Zeo. He's going to be happy with what he finds there.
Yeah, I think we'll be on the path now. Let's see them.
Yep, there's the Palmer ring for him.
Looks like we're on macro making, so I'm assuming we got our... Let's see what kind of healing we got. Okay, so this is just straight up all healing we're making here first.
Yep, and...
and the Ataraxia.
Yeah.
Oh, no, never mind.
3 characters have the Ataraxia, so with Raja having Naysar, your healings, you pretty much do not need to get Stardews at that point.
So we got a single person that's living healing here. This is probably my favorite part right now, is just seeing what people make with what they got available for different situations that we're going to run into for the 3 phases of Profound Darkness. But definitely with Ataraxia, it does make it, in my mind, a lot easier just to make more generic things that could just be used across the board, because you're not running out of TP. Let's be honest here right now.
When you have 3 of them, you're not running out. And Ataraxia scales with the caster's mental stats, so where Alice has it, it won't. It'll still give a decent amount, but Kira and Raja having it will definitely heal a lot more. But it's still enough to get another couple casts of Naysar out.
Exactly. Because right now, I'm just judging by the group, I'm assuming right now that Alice, Kira, and Raj are all rocking double shields right now. That would be the safe play. I could be wrong on this one. We got...
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, it's just more mental babbling right now. What's kind of going through my head right now? Chaz is, we know what he's rocking right now because he's going to be swinging really hard.
Yes,
and Demi is going to be rocking the gun as well, so we can't really do much about that.
Now, another thing is, the Dumpster does have Moonslasher. Moonslasher is Holy Elemental, and Alice has Vortex. And Warcry.
That is a very good point. Yeah, that could be a lot of pain.
When I know when I was running the seed, that's I went single slasher with Alice, Warcry, Guard Shield, Moonslasher, and she was dealing somewhere between $300 and $400 damage on Vortex.
Okay.
So it's still respectable.
Okay, let's see how this goes. 190 out of 223 max HP, so still a big ouch. Phase 1. Phase 1 is all about single target damage, so in ways that is a little easier, but it still stings. Oh, we got a double tech there too.
And we got, looks like Chitin's now decided to go back to Dark Force 1 after that, after having to reset.
Okay. I still hurting from that reset. That was
my heart goes out to my friend.
Let's see what we got here. All out attack.
Now I'm pretty sure I didn't see him use barrier, or the cyber suit, but I'm pretty sure he did.
That was item number 1 on the list in the macro.
Oh yes, and he's got Alice using it, and Alice actually has the fastest. She's got the highest agility growth in the game, so she's always going to be your choice to use a cyber suit. Alice is actually ridiculously good in this in randomizer.
Yeah, that was when I did one of my first with the random parties, and I actually got her for the first time. But I just did the non-shuffled of the Texan skills, and I wasn't too sure what to do with her. But by this stage in the game, I just put her out in front with 2 guard shields, and she was a happy camper up front because she has just enough HP to survive things, especially with barrier and D-ban up. So it was actually a really handy bonus.
Alice is a really, really good tank in this game. She doesn't get a lot in the way of... She gets only 3 skills. She only gets, I believe, 6 or 9 techniques. She doesn't get a lot in the way of that. But she has plenty of HP. She's the fastest character in the game. She could use the heaviest shields in the game, and she equips males. So, Alice is ridiculously good.
Alright.
One character who's actually a lot less impressive I've been finding, I may need to try and retweak it, is Rika.
Really?
All things considered, the only reason Rika's really good in vanilla is because she levels up faster than everybody else.
Which is fair, and since you normalize that now, you're taking away that key advantage. Because even at the end game in the speedrun, she's about 4 to 5 levels ahead of everybody else, minimum.
Yeah, her growth stats are some of the worst in the game. She doesn't get a lot in the way of skills. She doesn't have a great skill diversity. She still hits pretty hard though, and she still is fast. She's just not as fast as Alice. She's also one of the few characters also who do not... Ooh, Contact Thunder. I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, that was the double tech I just did not get the name of that was done earlier. So it's pretty neat seeing some of the double techs that you don't see too often.
Yeah, I saw when he was fighting in the triplets earlier, he did Silent Wave with Chaz's Air Slash and Demi's Phonon. The only problem with that is it changes the attack to a normal element attack instead of Chaz's Holy Element, and it takes away so much of the damage.
Gotcha. Let's see what else we got going here. So for phase 2, for those that have been astute so far, it is a lot of AoE damage potentially. There could be some single target damage, but a large chunk of it is some very heavy hitting AoE attacks, such as another gate. A very terrifying spell. Oh, and now we're on to phase 3, where all that goes out the window, and we're changing this completely now.
Alright, if anyone has a prayer emote of any kind, now's the time to do it, because even though he's got some extra levels, he's about 7 or 8 levels above what you would normally see in a speed run. This is still very dangerous. At this level, Alice should not be outturned by Profound Darkness. But there's a very small chance she could be. And
here's the opening Megid.
Yep.
So everyone down to double digits.
Yeah, I know when I actually used Psycho Wand on Raja on that, and he was at single digits every time. And that scared me. I was at a similar level too.
Terrifying.
Oh, Kira's got the plasma field on it, just tanked that shot. That's a free turn right there.
Caring. That's actually one of the valid strats for the speedrun, is to carry that plasma field right to the very end, and until cancel kicks in, it actually strips the special ability of the plasma field, and it's nowhere near as good anymore.
Yeah, canceling is everybody takes a deep breath and clenches really hard when they see canceling on this, because all your buffs, like right here, all your buffs are gone.
Oh no.
At this point, you need to pray that barrier gets out before, before Megid.
Not the service tooth there, or multiple these even.
That's actually that's actually very a very good strategy there.
Yeah.
So someone's gonna get the barrier out first. Demi's actually got a decent agility. Alice should. There we go. So that's safe. Oh, just in time too.
It was.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, thank God for Alice's
We're still
speed.
in this. We're still in this.
Oh, I've had one rando seed where Grizz was the one that had barrier. Barrier. Okay, here's the thing. Barrier scales off the caster's strength. So Grizz having it's a really good thing. The bad thing is though, after canceling, Grizz is very slow. He gets outturned a lot by Profound Darkness without being without the agility buff. And but if you could get his cast out of barrier, then it's very worthwhile, because Grizz actually has the highest strength of the game.
I'm just watching and praying right now. Okay, at least a single target didn't do too much to Chaz, so that's good. But the nice part about this team loadout is there's a lot of damage that Profound Darkness does not like built into this team.
Oh, and Dumpster going with a defensive Alice strat, casting Nate Watt, so getting that Contact Thunder out. But yeah, both Demi and Chaz have the holy weapons equipped. So, and I was gonna say, Chitin just finished up with Strength Tower, so he. I was gonna say, what was in Strength Tower?
I
don't think there was anything. No, there wasn't anything in Strength Tower.
There was 2 males and a shield in there. That was it. So nothing to help there. It seemed like once it was just an Anger Tower that had something, and then everything else was hiding behind the Ice Digger.
Yeah, I think Chitin's getting a little frustrated right now. I think he's gonna make a Rappy play.
Possible.
All right, so there's another canceling, and this is where the prayers come in again.
I like the play of having multiple cyber suits on hand. Just throw odds at it and pray that you land.
Yeah, I never would have thought of that. That's actually a really brilliant strategy.
Especially something that's important. Out of all the items that you can use to save you, that is a very good one to have in multiple of.
Yeah, and well, I am liking his macro there with Conduct Thunder. I just love seeing some of these combos that never get seen in vanilla.
Yeah.
I mean, in vanilla, if you don't do, or it's an invalid run for the speedrun if you don't do Grand Cross, at least.
I think that we can constitute this as a good fill-in at this
A good
stage.
substitute. It's a few hundred less, but we don't have another canceling. We don't have a way to do Grand Cross because we don't have Rune. Rune's the only one that can use FS.
Yeah.
All things considered, Dumpster's making really good time. My goals were always to get these seeds within an hour and a half to 2 hours, and he's falling right within that. And this was not an easy seed too, because take a look at how many items were required.
Yeah, there was a sprinkling here and there in the early game, but a lot of them was filled in more at the back end of the game.
Yeah, Air Castle to get the Alschline, and it's just like one thing had to. It was basically a lot of fetch quest type of things at that point, because you need the Alschline to get from the Air Castle. So you need the Arrow Prism to get the Alschline in order to get the Ice Digger, which the Ice Digger at that point would give you 2 of the rings.
Mm-hmm. This is probably getting pretty close to a kill here if I...
Yeah, he just keeps
getting
he just keeps getting canceled.
Yeah, that's the doubt. I guess I'm thinking more in duration rather than how much effort's been put into it right now, because that's what, 4 cancels now, I believe?
Yes, I believe 4 cancels.
Yeah, that's a terrifying amount of.
I don't think Chitin's gonna be too happy though.
Not with that die, mate.
Yeah, he just defeated the Fat Chocobo and got a die mate for his troubles. And he's just walking out. He's frustrated. I mean, I'd walk out too at that point. It's like, screw you. Don't even bother using the highest. And that's time for Dumpster.
Oh, GG.
It's a final of 138.15. Actually, probably a little less than that too, but I'll put it at that. Good enough. That is a GG for Dumpster. Holy. At least the best part is, it just goes right to the credits. I wish I could change the text on the credits, but you know, we still got to give credits to the original peoples.
So I guess we haven't seen Chitin go to Air Castle yet, have we?
He has not gone to Air Castle yet. I think I'm not sure where he is looking to go at this point, but we'll go ahead and switch over the music right to him.
I'm kind of hoping he just hasn't forgotten that it is actually an item just chilling in his inventory, ready to go.
Yeah, I reminded them on Discord.
Save.
Remember to say before. Yeah, it looks like he's going to Air Castle now.
Okay.
Hey, what do you know? It worked.
Ta-da!
Let me see if I can pull Dumpster in for a chat. Hang on.
Yeah. Oh. So as we saw earlier, we're just heading through the air castle now. And goal number 1, gotta take out those triplets first, so we can go access to the sheep here.
Yes, the wonderful, wonderful triplets. To be honest, though, that's another one of my favorite fights to actually see you worked in a speed run. Just because of the, yeah, you need a little bit of luck. Once you get barrier out, it's pretty safe.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's actually a very interesting fight when, especially if you don't get barrier up in time. Well, you actually do have a few options to get through the fight. It's going to take longer, but you have a way out at least, unlike some situations where if you don't get barrier up, such as a certain run race I did with Bowie the Hero at RPG Limit Break last year, where I got another gate right turn 1 before barrier went up.
That's not uncommon, though. That is not uncommon.
That was the one and only time I saw it. And,
what happened? That was huge damage. He must have got hit by Zan before Thunder Halberd or something.
I think that may have been the case.
Yeah. Because if he got double AoE'd and then Thunder, oh god.
Here's this is the pain coming, the single targets. Okay, so there's not going to be a triple attack, so that's good for this first round here.
That's actually not a bad strategy either, is get your slower character, get the macro out first with your slower characters, then use your AoE and you won't get countered. That's viable too.
I'm just worried about the healing right now, how this is going to go, because now I've seen some AoE skills coming into the play here.
Yeah, the let me just see if I can.
Let's see what else is happening here. Tandles, corrosions, air slash. Okay, 1 down. So no triple attacks anymore, but now we're just down to singles. But when Alice gets crit for 1 damage, I think we're sitting pretty good right now. So this round, this should be finish off the last of the triplets.
Yes. So.
Hello.
Hey, there's Dumpster.
Well, that was scary. I didn't have barrier for so much of the run. I was like, I haven't been to Lashik without barrier before. Is he just gonna one-shot me?
He did not use another gate on you the entire time, too.
That was very lucky. I over-leveled at Valhalla Fort because I was just... If I didn't, I would have been one-shot for sure at any standard level.
Yeah, and that's the beauty. I mean, you had Tandle, so Valhalla Fort, Kira with Tandle, if you have it, Valhalla Fort becomes your grind option at that point.
Yeah, pretty much if I have Positron Bolt from Ren or Tandle, then Valhalla becomes a good grind spot around the level 20s. I mean, you may die like 1 or 2 times, but I think it's definitely worth the experience.
Yeah, and you had a really... that was a seed that actually had 6 required items out of the 7, and you still had a time of 138.15. Give or take.
Yeah, I think what helped is the guard armors in the beginning, and an early Obsidian for Chaz as well. Really helped the damage output.
Yes.
Because in the balancing for this mod, the guard armors do give more magic resistance, which kind of helped offset that I didn't have a barrier.
Yeah, and unfortunately, nobody in this seed learned barrier, and the cyber. It was funny. The cyber suit was in Jut, and then you get the access key in Weapon Plant, and you go to Plate System, and what's there? A cyber suit.
I know. I bought 2 cyber suits because Profound Darkness can be a troll, so even though Alice is probably like one of the fastest characters, I didn't trust it, so I used cyber suit on 2 characters to try to make sure that I got the barrier off before he did midget.
See, I never thought of that. That's actually a really brilliant strat.
Yeah, we were both commenting on that while you were doing the fight. It's like, wait, he's using 2. He can use 2. That's brilliant!
Yeah. in vanilla, only 1 character has barrier, but if you... And the way the speed works in this game, even a fast character can get outturned by a slower one. So just to make sure that I got the barrier out on 2 fast characters, I used the barrier, because Demi definitely would have died without the barrier, and I'm not sure. Probably Chaz as well. I'm sure.
I mean, Alice actually is the fastest character in the game, and there is at that level. There's almost zero chance that it will happen. But this is Phantasy Star 4. Zero chance.
Almost.
Basically, there's still a 1 in there somewhere for a percentage.
Do enough rando seeds, and then that resetting for 10 minutes. I'm like, it's not worth it. Just do 2. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was.
How are you feeling about the whole thing, though?
Oh, I'm really hyper. I've been watching the vanilla speedruns of Phantasy Star 4 for years, and I've never really got involved. And when the randomizer came out, I was like, okay, well, something I can just go to chaos with. And the randomizer definitely makes you think about a lot of game mechanics that you ordinarily wouldn't think of in the vanilla. So, such as what techniques are magic and what techniques are physical based, because you always have a character, or for most of the game, you have a character that can cast barrier and deban. But in the randomizer, that's not guaranteed. So, for example, I was very reluctant to go to the air castle without barrier because of they have very strong magic attacks.
Yeah, it is a very terrifying place for sure for that.
It plays true to the old RPG trope, is if you feel like you're too weak, get some levels.
Yeah, I mean, just because I could grind so quickly in Valhalla 4, I thought the 2 or 3, maybe up to 4 minutes that I'd be grinding, I might save in doing subsequent bosses because I don't need to heal as much. So, for example, in is it Courage Tower, the physical based?
Strength Tower.
Yeah, Strength Tower. Raja has Deban, which basically meant that all the physical bosses I took a lot less damage from, because Raja has a really high mental stat, which means that I mitigated a lot of physical damage. So bosses like that only ended up doing 20 damage to me or so. So having Raja having a little bit more speed and things like that, yeah, I think it was worth it.
It's actually very interesting that you brought up specifically the Strength Tower there, because Starbird actually asked, like, if people were to go to a place right now, where would they go? Like, go do the 2 towers.
Yeah,
the 2 easy towers, because you got D-band, you're okay. And no more than maybe 2 or 3 minutes after that was being said, boom, you were heading there, and I was so happy.
Yeah, it's basically because I had 2 choices at that point, because I just gotten, I believe, the Ulschline. And I was like, there's 3 checks in Rycross, and there's 1 check that I can do right now in Matavia. But then when I believe I got the access key and maybe the Psycho Wand in Matavia? Sorry, in Rycross. And then I was like, I'm not doing Salus without barrier. So I was like, if I have to come back, I'll come back, but I'd rather not. Yeah.
Salus is Salus. We were talking Salus and Dark Force 3, which are the 2 bosses you actually did not fight, but they're also the most nightmarish.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of willing to. Well, the thing is, Dark Force 3, his corrosion is very strong, but he's also very annoying, and the fight can take a long time because he putting your characters to sleep and lowering their agility and things like that. So
imagine not having Demi in that, though, and having 4 or 5 humans with Mind Blast.
Yeah, exactly. And with Demi not having medic barrier, which could wake up the sleeping characters, they didn't want to risk it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. It falls in line with my thinking that those 2 are like Dark Force 3 and going to Courage Tower are just. I have to have exhausted every other option before I even consider it going there. Yeah,
especially as I don't think I didn't have barrier at that point, because I was thinking between going to Climate Center and Valhalla 4 or to Soldier's Temple, because they have the same number of checks. But I didn't have barrier for the corrosion, so also in addition to him putting me to sleep and things, so thought those two would be quicker checks.
You scared me earlier when you did a really low-level Rappy King.
Oh!
And
Yeah.
you were like at level 21. I know you had the good armor, and I was like, if Rappy King hits Earthquake, there's no amount of mitigation without barrier that's going to save you from that. Cause
Yeah.
he
I was
did hit
pretty much
Earthquake, though.
throwing Raja to the wolves in that one, because he would have died if they did Earthquake.
And what did he give you?
I can't, probably Monomate or something, I don't know.
He gave you a die mate, and it was like the fat chocobo gave you die mate.
I made from there.
Yeah, I mean, so sometimes after Ladea Tower, I'll think about doing the Rappy Cave, but because I had the guard armor or guard equipment on most of the characters, the Rappy King is exclusively a physical-based fight. I thought that with Raja's decent D-ban and very good equipment, I could probably just survive an Earthquake.
One neat thing that I brought up is that even in the randomizer, there are so many different ways to play some of these characters. Alice being one of the more interesting characters to play because she's really so good in randomizer because she's fast and she's tanky. But when I was vetting this seed, I played Alice with the Moonslasher, and with Warcry and Moonslasher, she was dealing between 300 and 400 damage with Vortex on Profound Darkness. But I didn't have Kira doing a whole lot other than be support and throw out Tandle and whatnot. And then both Graf and I were mentioning one thing that's interesting is seeing these combination attacks, and you had the mentioned macro use Conduct Thunder. And it's like, I love Conduct Thunder. I never see it though, and it's just like it was still dealing 400 to 500 damage right there. And it's like, and you had double shield on Alice, if I'm correct.
Yeah, the guard shield and I think a reflect shield. So she was really tanky.
So either way, the amount of damage that was still being dealt was similar, and you were playing Alice completely different than I was.
Yeah, I think considering how much healing I had, actually, I probably didn't need two shields on Alice. In hindsight, actually, I think the Moonslasher was probably a good idea, but the thing is that with the randomizer, there is literally so many. Like for a set seed, you can organize your party differently. Anything can work as long as you have someone who can heal and at least 2 damage dealers. It's so creative in the randomizer. So that's one of the things I like about it, is that a character isn't put into a pigeonhole of oh, this is my magic defense caster and things like that, because they could have a whole wide range of spells.
That's a very good point as well, because one of the things that was spotted fairly early on is there was a lot of Ataraxia available for you, so you could go ham on whatever attack spells or whatever you felt like healing, not an issue. So you get a lot of interesting choices you can make, because now all of a sudden you're not burdened with buying 20 Stardew's, for example, because you have Nassar available to you.
Yeah, I think I still bought 4 or 5 Stardew's even though I had Nassar with Ataraxia, and it was just the paranoia in me. What if Rasha gets slept or something? But in Profound Darkness he doesn't get slept, so I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, it was having the combination of a very good heal and TP recovery definitely makes it so you can take more risks in doing damage. Because quite often, if you don't have a heal like Nassar, you may have to have 2 characters that are healing. And with an android, probably cast and recover as well, you may only have 2 people doing damage at a time.
Yeah, but at least definitely having the Nassar option, at least you know all your living people, one action is a full heal effectively, so that's really good.
Yeah, to be honest, when I saw Demi in the starting 5, I was like, oh no. But she was actually really good. She did a lot of damage.
Yeah, you had access to that gun there, the best gun in the game. There, the name's just escaping me right now. Very early on, and also the guard armor was available very quickly as well. So she was really tanky right from the get-go.
Yeah, even with because I didn't get the electric resistance for a while on Demi, so I was also a bit worried about that going to fight Lashik. But the D-ban, I'm not sure. Is the Thunder Halberd? I think it's a physical based spell, so that
Yes.
the D-ban and Raja really saved Demi in that fight.
Yep, no, you're absolutely correct in that the D-ban, it was definitely reducing that damage very nicely.
So Dumpster, you're gonna sign up for the Phantasy Star 4 randomizer league, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, right now I'm number 1, but if I don't sign up, do I just get to stay? No, I'm joking. Yeah, 100%. I love playing this game, and I've been playing the randomizer probably once every couple of days. You know, it's just it's so variant, and every time I think of something new, like a character is taking very little damage versus Saluz and Legion. I'm like, why is that? And I'm like, oh, Plasma Field blocks Legion. I never knew that. You know?
I didn't know that either.
Wow.
It's like, wow, give everybody a plasma field and just just use one-handed physical attacks.
One day that strategy is going to pay off.
That's good to know. I did not know that one either. That's really cool.
As I think, if I recall correctly, anything that classifies as an energy attack, which is a lot of things, just Plasma Field just doesn't care.
Yeah, which playing through casually, you look at some of these things and you're like, you know, what's the big deal out of them? And then when you start, when we started looking at the code and everything, and it's like, okay, these things do a lot more. It's like the motor ring is like, it's gonna be the go-to ring for Raja because of the fire resistance. Because hey, he does not. He doesn't have much. He doesn't. He's weak to fire. I was gonna say, yeah. Speaking of motor ring, there we go.
Yeah, one more to go.
Yeah, the rings, I believe, now give more magic resistance than they used to as well. So even if you don't have the Palma or Rycross ring, which gives electric resistance to Demi, it's still quite nice, I think, to put the ring on Demi, who's going to take the most magic.
I don't remember what I did with them. I might have. But being able to equip the Rycross ring, and the Rycross ring also gives lightning resistance as well. And I did that because if you have both Ren and Demi in your party, who do you give the Palma ring to? Most likely it's going to be Demi you give it to because she would need it more than Ren, but why choose? So the Rycross ring, give one to each of them at that point.
Yeah, I used to give it to Demi before Profound Darkness, and then I was like, Demi's just going to die anyway, so I gave it to Ren. So it depends kind of what level you are, because I think around the 250 HP mark, it's a bit dicey with the standard barrier, which is 48 from Cybersuit. You kind of have to think what level barrier do I have, because that's another thing that in vanilla you can kind of, it's when you get to a certain boss you're about the same level most of the time, so you kind of know how much damage you're going to take from an attack. But with different characters having different strength stats, and if they're the one with barrier, you can have to think, is this a weak barrier, a strong barrier, will I die, you know?
And where barrier scales with strength. If you see it on Rune or Raja, it's like, oh, okay, they got a buff, but it's more impressive on Ren or Grizz. Although we were saying, I had a scene once where Grizz had barrier, and but the thing is, he's so slow.
Yeah, that's another thing, is that if Grizz has barrier, then I pretty much want someone else to cast Cybersuit first, and then Grizz to cast barrier after, because yeah, we can't rely on just the Birdman.
Yeah, his barrier is ridiculously strong, but it's because he's so slow, and there's not any reliable way to really boost his speed in this game. The Swift Helm, yeah, or the Motor Ring if you want to give that to him, but again, he's mostly going to use the Diesel Ring. Although there's not too many cases where the bosses will cast Ice Magic, so Grizz can still go with just about anything else.
Looks like we're on 4 or 5 rings now, and see where Chitin goes next here. So maybe we may see ring number 5 here shortly.
Looks like he's
So what was the differences in route between us?
he had a reset.
He saved right before the boss in Ladea Tower, did a whole bunch of things, went to Dark Force 1, it went south, he reset, he was back at Ladea Tower.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And then his internet cut out.
My internet cut out.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of balance there. Yours definitely came back up a lot faster, but it was that reset that kind of did it right there.
Yeah, because does Dark... I guess the burst drop from Dark Force 1, I think that's magical, and I think even though I was quite high level, I think
really high, yeah.
But he's I don't remember if I saw him go to Jet to get the cyber suit, but he's gonna be happy with plate system.
Yeah. He did skip over that in Jet.
Yeah, he's just throwing his cheers in the air right now, because that's what I was doing. But when I saw him in Jet.
Yeah, the other side of it as well is you picked up a lot of telepipes to make sure you can go around. Unfortunately, I don't think Titan did it.
Yeah, so one thing I do in the beginning is I sell all my weapons, which, sometimes comes back to bite me when I fight the first boss and I have no offensive spells or anything. But I use that money to buy as many escape pipes and tele pipes as I can.
And that's actually a really good idea, because odds are you're going to find something that's at least better than the base equipment.
Yeah.
And in the first dungeon,
because Zealand...
Go ahead.
Zealand and Rycross has 11 chests between them, and then if you don't find any weapons there, then you can at least go around the Tenno route to get maybe another 9 or so. So what I like to do is I like to effectively item hunt in the beginning to figure out who my characters are that's going to have the strong defense and put them in front. Because another thing that in vanilla you would usually put your characters with the highest HP in front, but if a character has lower HP but a significantly higher defense, then maybe you would put them in front. Like that's what I did for the Sandworm, because I believe Demi, well, you'd probably put Demi at the front anyway, but the characters which had 2 shields on, I put them in the front.
You both went level 4 Sandworm, and I was like, that's scary.
Yeah, it's because did I have D-ban on Raja at that time? I'm not sure.
I believe you did, yes.
Yeah, so about 20 of the physical attack defense was mitigated, and the Sandworm does about 70 to 90 damage. So I wasn't sure whether the back row characters were going to survive, but I was very sure that the first 3 characters would.
It was actually funny watching between the 2 of you, because both of you actually went to Sandworm at pretty close to the same time.
Okay.
And there was an instance where I can't remember if it was you or Chitin, that Raja got attacked for 1 damage, and then the following turn, Alice got attacked and almost got killed.
Oh.
So it just shows, but that was just the breakdown of the gear at the time, that someone that's rear, normally you just keep at the very back, was actually fairly tanky at that point in the game.
Yeah, I mean, especially with... So one thing that I was looking for about half the game, I was going into all the shops which had an armor or an item placed in it to check for a cyber suit, because I really wanted to have a barrier, especially for some of these end game fights like Saluz and Dark Force 3. And I went into one shop which only had 2 items, and it was a magic. So the way the randomizer works is that there's an armor shop with the buff items, and there's also an item shop and I couldn't remember which one I'd already seen which didn't have the color scarf. So the cyber suit. So I just went into every shop I saw, basically.
Yeah, the color scarf's still a little broke. I'll fix that.
Yeah, I almost used it against Dark Force 3, and then I was like, oh yeah.
Here we go. Ring number 5.
Yep, Kite is in go mode. Let's see. He's a little lower level than you were at this point, so he may. He does have a cyber suit now, so he could very well just make a go for it and pray for the best.
It looks like he has a Moon Slasher and Alice as well. Is he doing the physical Alice's attack?
Physical Alice is still very valid. Vortex, the damage works really funny on it, I've noticed, because I don't get that. Even if I equip a second slasher on her, I don't get that much more damage. So, single slasher and shield worked fine for me when I tried, but I'm not sure how it works 100%, which is odd because single dagger Chaz crosscut seems to. Actually, I never checked single dagger crosscut versus double dagger.
Yeah.
So I'm not
I think
sure
the Rika, Silver Tusk, single Tusk, Silver Tusk Rika with double slash does decent damage as well.
Yeah, it's something I have to look at, but the either strat for Alice, especially with Moon Slasher. If Alice didn't have Vortex, I wouldn't even bother with Moon Slasher in the final boss with her. Kira also has Vortex as well. The thing is, Alice has a higher strength than Kira.
Warcry.
And Warcry, oh yes. Warcry strats are legit with if Alice has, especially where slashers did get buffed. I mean, they're not. 2 slashes aren't even going to come close to like the damage of a sword, or like the attack power of a sword. But I mean, their AOE it would be very broken if they did. Although,
yeah, I think it's so. I think Alice had Githu, which probably does around 200 and something damage to the enemies that are weak to light. So that was basically my thought process, is that I'm probably going to get another 50 damage. Although I wasn't thinking about Vortex, so or Warcry. I was thinking I'd get maybe another 50 damage, but I could have 2 shields. But in hindsight, with the amount of healing that I had, I think Physical Alice was good. And I think this was probably a Jet Seed as well, where you won't always get 3 characters that have pretty good damage. It's quite lucky to get the Elcidian and Photon Eraser quite early for Demi and Chaz. So some Siege you're scraping for damage, and the Moon Slasher strats will definitely come in handy.
Yeah, it looks like overall for this team and what items were available, both early and also later on, there's a lot of oomph available for the Profound Darkness fight. So it looked not too bad. However, if we may comment about that Profound Darkness fight, all those cancels that were occurring there was rather terrifying.
Yeah, I was like, there's only one way I'm gonna lose this fight because I have infinite TP, and it's the cancels. It's like, oh no.
And it came up for you every time, especially with the idea of the double cyber suits.
Yeah, because I was very conscious that I could make a mistake. I almost forgot to Sena and D-Ban with Raja and Kira. So I used the 2 cyber suits, and then I thought I was doing an attack, macro. And then I luckily at last second I was like, hey, wait, why is 2 people using items? Oh yeah, it's the macro, the buffs. Because if you make one mistake versus Profound Darkness, it doesn't matter if you're level 50, you're probably gonna die. The 2 measures in a row.
Yep.
Yeah, that's very scary at that point, but. Yeah, all those cancelings, I was like, oh my god, no, not like this. We need prayers. Chat was giving their prayers out.
Yeah, the blessed RNGs.
Right.
So for all the wonderful listeners that are out there right now, if we haven't made it very clear already, this game will end you if it so desires. If you are not ready.
Yeah,
or
you can go, Starbuck. I think you can pretty much breeze throughout most of the game at a high level, but then you get to Profound Darkness and you just get destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, if you get to, like, I remember when I first played it when I was a kid, I think I didn't know about the buffs or abilities, so I didn't know exactly what they did. So I think I was like 55 at Profound Darkness.
Yeah.
And without barrier, that worked just fine. And I think I used, I can't remember if I used Demi or if I used Grizz my first time through, but I know at 55, if you have Grizz with Warcry, he's going to do a ton of damage.
Yeah, that's gonna be good.
I was slightly stressed at like level 38, so the speedrunners who do this at level 30, bless them, because yeah, my heart would be pounding.
Yeah.
Yeah, if barrier were an option, and none of the characters here are ridiculously high strength. If you had Ren, usually if I'm gonna go level 30 with barrier, I'm gonna hope it's Ren that has it, or Grizz. But if I have Grizz, I'm gonna hope I have a cyber suit available too. Other than that, you give yourself some levels and you're good to go. But of course, as we all know, grinding for levels takes time.
Yeah, I think trying to optimize when you grind will be something that will change a lot, and different people have different ideas which will work. I think the Tandil or Positron Bolt Valhalla is pretty good. I think maybe the Mist Veil in Desolus?
Yes.
Will be good if you don't have those really strong spells. So, I mean, the more people, the more people that play it, the more wacky strats will come out. I'm sure. I'm gonna be interested to see what Kaiten did differently than me, because you don't, unless you play a race, you don't really get to see for the same seed what would someone else do.
Yeah, it is actually, that is a very true point. And like, from my point of view, I did a lot of the playing just on my own early on. I did streamed a few of them, nothing too crazy. But actually be able to see the side-by-side now has been very interesting to see how both of you have tackled the same problems.
Yeah, the dream is to have a league going, or something where there's a bunch of people playing through this. So you guys did a wonderful race today to demonstrate or to showcase a lot of what this has to offer, and that's another reason I end up picking this seed, because you did have to get almost everything. The only two dungeons that weren't touched were Soldier's Temple and Gruberg.
Well, that was another Warcry that came up all of a sudden at level 39.
Of all people to get it, Kira.
Kira got it.
Is he gonna equip the other slasher if he has one? I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, switched over to double guard shield on Alice right now, so that's a good question.
With the variety of techniques in this game and the different equipment giving different bonuses, I think that over time this will become more and more optimized, where you may actually have to start changing your equipment to tailor a boss, and maybe grinding will be a much slower option than buying the right equipment early and things like that.
I mean, I love that 5 plasma shield strat against Salus.
Oh, yeah.
Well, by process of elimination...
What about 10?
By process of... Well, actually, no, Courage Tower wasn't touched either. I just remembered that. But the Eclipse Torch, according to the spoiler log, was in Soldier's Island.
Oh, that was behind Dark Force 3?
Yep, so that would have been kind of a red herring right there. You go to get that, and then all of a sudden, okay, well, let's take a look at Garubik at this point.
Yeah, I would have gotten lost there, so I'm glad that it didn't come up.
No one likes Garbage Tower.
No, that moniker is a very true fact. Nobody likes that place at all. Unless it plays nice, then you love it.
Yes, but when has it ever played nice? Garubik's one of the reasons I don't run the game anymore.
When I believe my PB has a variance of about 4 minutes, I think that says it all right there, just from the walk-up in that place.
Well, I'm a dumpster player, so that place is my home. You know.
Garubik, from Garubik Tower, we got dumpster player.
Yeah. Dark Force 4.
So what would you think? And I think I mentioned this in Discord. The next thing I want to work on is boss randomization. Basically, where the boss can be anywhere. So you go to Piata Basement instead of Iglanova, you get Dark Force 3.
Yeah, that's the stuff of nightmares. I mean, forget Profound Darkness.
But imagine if it were Dark Force 3 with Iglanova stats.
Yeah. I mean, it would be quite...
That is a real possibility that I didn't factor into. I was just thinking along the lines of just a raw switch, but a raw switch with stat adjustment for what the spot is, that gets a lot more fun, because I don't want to know what Iglanova does in Dark Force 3 spot.
Well, the thing is with Iglanova, right now, he's only really got one attack, and the other one is basically to summon the mobs that he does, which is that is his go-to unless both of his sides have a mob. I'm gonna fix that. I'm gonna make Iglanova have a little bit of a challenge.
If you make it almost like the final boss of Chrono Trigger, with the bait and switch of who really is the last boss on that screen, then that could be really fun.
All of a sudden, he summons one of the mobs, and it's like, oh my god, he's got 5,000 HP.
Yeah.
Can summon mini Dark Forces.
Oh god. All of a sudden, yes, it spits out Dark Force 1 onto his side. Because Dark Force 1 is so huge, you only see like the left half of his face.
It would be like the new Mega Sisters, you know, from Final
Right.
Fantasy 4. Dark Force 1, 2, and 3, all in one.
My god. That would be something else. I'm gonna have to play with Iglanova because I think I could make that fight a lot more interesting. Because it's a free fight.
It is really a free fight.
But it's almost mandatory if you don't have a magic lamp in the no encounter route, because you can do level 1 sandworm if you pick up an early snow crown, but you may die once or twice getting it off because your agility is so low at level 1.
Yeah, and especially if you have Kira, it's all with that 7 HP at level 1.
Yeah. I mean, I was very happy to see the party apart from Demi, but Demi's good, but you kind of need the right party around her. So, for example, I think Miracle came in handy a few times where I could forego healing on Demi because using Recover on Demi because Miracle also heals androids.
Yes. Both Miracle and Metis, which Kira's a few people can actually use Miracle. Even Grizz can use Miracle. Kira's the only one that can use Metis, which I found very odd when I was going through the files.
Yeah, it's funny that the head of the Espers can not use Kira's techniques.
Yep. It's like, what does she know that I don't? It's like she's got Bendwa, she's got Warla, she's got a few other things. I'm hoping with the next update with the boss randomization, I also want to be able to make it so that bosses aren't immune to stat debuffs. So the stat debuff spells, they're not in the game because they're basically waste space. I could implement them back in the game, like Talele, which is a a skill that Kira has, it lowers the enemy's attack power. Seeing strategies like that come into play would be interesting to see as well.
Yeah, I think that could definitely work in combination with maybe if bosses had a way to dispel their debuffs as well. Because, well, in Profound Darkness, for example, it would be great if you could lower its speed.
Yeah, it wouldn't be something that could be hit 100% of the time.
Oh, yeah.
Especially
Sorry.
since some abilities, the save is like the enemy's magic defense or something like that. So it's something I gotta play around. Definitely.
So I'm thinking here that Kaiten is also worried about not having a very strong barrier with Demi in the team. So that's probably why Kaiten, I think, is doing a bit more grinding.
Yeah, there's a real possibility, and but he did finish at level 42, so he has the answer to everything right now, so we're okay.
Yeah, I think though grinding in the edge, even at high levels, the edge monsters are so troll. So at least in the Valhalla Fort, the most they can do is damage or stun, whereas the edge they can insta death you. So.
We're on the walk, so we're about to see party time round 2.
Yes, and hopefully he's at a higher level than you were there, Dumpster. So
when I see this walk, I just think of the countless speedrunners who have gotten to this point on the PB and just had their dreams destroyed.
Yeah.
By cancelling.
That's everybody who's run this.
Yeah.
I think even when I first played this, I think I had my PB run, or my PB destroyed, and even though that was my first run, it still destroyed my PB.
Well, let's see how phase 1 goes.
It's also a bit so I think here that Kaiten should use the cyber suit and deban before the Sena buff, because the speed buff doesn't take effect until the next turn.
Yep,
and
you 100% correct.
And you want as few characters to act before your magic defense and then your physical defense.
Fortunately, now it's like I just realized he made a boo-boo and put Vortex in the macro. Alice does not have a boomerang equipped.
Yeah.
He was looking at trying to use Warcry, then I think he second-guessed himself and decided, nope.
It's actually
just there now.
Really hard sometimes to make a macros or many macros in the randomizer, because what your perspective of what character has what techniques and skills just kind of goes out the window, and you're like, oh yeah, Demi has barrier. No, then Demi does not have barrier anymore.
Yeah, that was actually a comment that I got brought up earlier. For me, at least, the fun part of playing the randomizer was once you get later on and you kind of get an idea of who has what, I try to incorporate what I would normally make for macros, especially for Profound Darkness, in. So I started thinking, okay, what do I need for this? What do I need for this? What do I need for that? And it was very fun trying to make those macros for trying to make something that was roughly equivalent again.
Yeah,
for my side, because I'm used to making it all the time. I already have it planned out in my head how a fight's going to go.
Yeah, this final menu in vanilla for the speedrun, it's 8 or 9 macros, and I don't know how people remember it.
Let's see. A is single target healing that's meant for phase A. B is similar, but it's for phase 2. C is for all-out damage plus Metis for single target healing. D is pure recover on Ren and all damage. E is your all healing for after Megid. F is your buffing one. G is all out damage, that's Grand Cross. And H is your reserve Reaver, double Reaver for reviving somebody.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is someone who has made a speedrun guide for this game.
I forgot I did.
Oh, I forget about that all the time. Not yours, the ones I make for a lot of the my speedrun games. Oh yeah, I made one for Alf too. Oh good lord, why did I waste that? Why did I waste 5 minutes doing that?
All right, so now we're on to phase 2 now. So now the AOE damage kicks in. So now things get scarier. But I think there's enough damage here that punching through this phase is not going to be too... Okay, that's not too bad. About 50% of Raj's health.
I think one thing I didn't realize until I got to Profound Darkness was that Chaz actually had shift for most of the game, and I just completely missed it. I could have powered up his attacks, and I got to Profound Darkness, and I was like, oh, you can power up his attacks. Okay, well, I missed that, but Crosscut did so much damage with the Alcidian that...
Yeah, for the most part for the entire game, it just didn't really matter all that much. You were just clubbing things.
Another cool thing with the randomizer is that you see a lot of combo moves that you don't usually get to see in casual or necessarily in the speedrun. So a few of the things that I didn't know even existed was one, the Contact Thunder. There's the which is Tandil plus Watt. There's the Burst Drop plus Nathaway, which is a shooting star. So by the time people get that in the speed run, it's kind of late game. You don't get many of them.
My heart sunk when you pulled off Silent Wave against the triplets, because it changes the attack from whatever Chaz has equipped, which was Holy, and the triplets are very weak to Holy, and then change it just to normal, and I'm like, oh, because Chaz's Air Slash would have done just as much damage as Silent Wave. But
that's a case of a complete mistake. I cast Air Slash because I was like, oh, Chaz has some AoE. Cast Phonon because I was like, oh, that's the only AoE that Demi has right now. And then I saw her and I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. Well, you know.
All right.
Yeah, it's a very uninspired attack, but yeah, what are you gonna do? So we're at phase 3 now for Chitin, and let's just pray.
See what happens. Amping up as much damage as usual at the start here.
He's got the Conduct Thunder in the single spell, not in the macro, but maybe we see.
Well, there's maybe a chance for that. That's still a good amount. So let's see how the Mejids handle at even higher level right now.
I don't think Demi had full HP there as well.
I wasn't paying attention there, but I guess we'll see in a hot second here. But Alice at least was the only survivor so far we've seen that had 3 digits still for HP after Megid.
Double guard shield, that'll do it.
Yeah. Oh, there's the Stardew's coming out to play.
I don't think I don't think he's seen the Nasar, or maybe because the Ataraxia I didn't use for basically the entire game until I was setting up the macros for Profound Darkness. So
yeah, there's not really much. Not many fights last long enough for it to really matter. You always have an out. This one's the only one that's like, yeah, you need to use this resource. And that's where that actually really comes in to make sure that you're more, as long as you're not being one shot, you're pretty close to 100% safe. It is a non-zero chance that you can die still, but let's see. So far, fairly a lot of single target damage so far, so that's actually what we really like seeing.
Yeah, if you get Ataraxia and Nasar, you pretty much got yourself covered for healing in this fight.
I think when there are seeds, yeah, that's a lot of defense.
This fight is looking so good right now.
I know, this is like the most ideal. The only thing more ideal would be if whatever Profound Darkness was attacking had the plasma field on.
Or even just Sleeping Demi. I'm okay with that too. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I think I took off a plasma field right at the end for a reflex shield, which maybe helped against Mejids, but
you did have plasma field on for Kira.
Yeah, with someone I had it, but I couldn't remember. And I remember thinking that they took full damage. I was like, I wasn't expecting them to take 200 damage.
You had it on Kira, and took a normal attack, and it did only 1 damage. Like, hey, there's our free turn. But if canceling hits, then the buff that goes to the plasma field goes away as well. So it's not fun like that.
Yeah, Yeah, the Plasma Field into Profound Darkness 3 is really good until it's not anymore.
I'd forgotten that was how it worked actually. That cancelling removes the plasma field defenses.
Yeah, no, it is a balanced strat in the speedrun as well, but I think a lot of... I don't know what is being done now, but for what I do, I ain't gambling on that.
Well, hopefully if he cancels twice, does it uncancel the cancel?
Nope.
You would think.
Gone.
Well, the way the
Two negatives don't make a positive.
Yeah, and the way the code works, each enemy has 8 slots for what they can do for attacks. Canceling is on 1 slot, and Evil Eye's on 1 slot of their own as well. The game's written so that an enemy will not use the same slot 2 turns in a row. So you won't see 2 cancelings back to back. And you won't see 2 Evil Eyes back to back as well. But on attacks like Medjed, Medjed takes up 4 slots. You can see Medjed back to back because it's taking the first Medjed slot and then picking from the other 3 and then doing that. So it's interesting to see how some of these mechanics work in the game.
Classic ads. Yeah, I think because when your resources are very low, that's when the kind of strategic decision making is the most effectual. So if you don't have a good source of healing, or luckily I had a very good source of healing, but I didn't have a good source of barrier. So as long as you had one of those, I think you can be fine.
Yeah, if you don't have healing, you definitely want barrier. Titan should be coming up at the end here pretty soon.
Yeah, it's been a pretty clean fight so far.
Until we just saw this.
No!
No! Don't do that macro, please.
We don't care about the vortex there. That's okay. Just go.
This is fine.
Okay.
This is fine. That scared me though, because having Raja go before Cyrus was like, oh, that's the slowest order.
Yeah.
Oh, that scared me.
Something I've been trying out as well is if my character is the healer, trying out the Phanta robe on them, just so they can get a bit more speed. So that's what I also did with Kira when.
Oh, there it is.
That is GG 230 205.
There it is.
Oh,
GG, dude.
205.
Oh. My net went out. That's why I slowed down a bit.
You powered through.
You had
Me
that
too, man.
reset too there, Kite, and that did not. That slowed you down a little bit as well.
Me
You
too,
had that
man.
reset too there, Kite,
Oh,
and
that was
did
kind
not.
of trolly
That slowed you
though
down a
to
little
get
bit as
like
well.
everything I needed.
Yeah, I think not having the barrier for so long was very stressful.
That
I
was
think not
no.
having the
I
barrier
was
for
like
so
I was like,
long
okay, where's
was
my
very,
cyber suit? I need it now.
stressful.
Because I knew, because I knew when Burial was not showing up. I said I need a cyber suit immediately before I get to PFD.
Yeah, and you end up finding it. It's the cyber suit was. I don't know if you checked the item shop in Jut or not. But that's where it was end up finding it. It's the
Where
cyber
at?
suit was. I don't know if you checked the. Oh, I'll fix that. It was the
where
cyber
at?
suit was in Jut.
Ah, dang it!
at the
I
item
didn't
shop.
bother.
Well,
I did not bother. I was in a hurry.
it's the funny thing is it was at the shop in Jut, the item shop in Jut, and then you had the weapon plant which had the access key, which then you found it in the plate system. So it's like, oh, good race.
I believe that you always get to Profound Darkness with having at least one of the buff items, right? That
all the buff items are available through the incentive options. Courage Tower was where the power shield was. Rubric Tower was where the Swift helmet was.
Which I didn't need anyways. Thankfully, it was not DF2 record or DF3. I'm pissed.
Both Color Scarf and Eclipse Torch were on Soldier's Island. Snow Crown was in Climate Center, which you both got, and the plate system had the cyber suit, which you both got.
Yeah, because I was like, okay, it has to be because I knew the hint was either it was gonna be where daughter was or where it was the dominator. So I was like, I took Gamma daughter, and that's where I got the cyber suit. That's where I was like, okay, I don't even know where everything is now.
Yep,
Oh,
and that's where those musical hints came in handy. I wasn't able to hear them. Dumpster, did you? I don't remember you checking the musical hints.
No, I did. Yeah,
Okay.
but it was like in and out in
Okay.
1 second.
That could have been.
Because
Okay.
yeah,
I've watched this game so much that I just know where the places are.
But
but man, I was getting like Conduct Thunders on PFD3 like no tomorrow. I was like, what is going on here?
yeah,
That was
that's
great.
Dumpster was using that strategy too. It was basically
Yeah.
he double shielded Alice, and
Yeah.
just basically
That's
on
what I did
his
too.
healing macro, just use Conduct Thunder on everything.
It does probably about the same damage as the individual spells, maybe like 10 more, but it was
No, actually, I was checking my damage output. It actually does individually. It does like at least 20 more because Conductor does like 400 something plus damage.
But you're saving animation frames.
I was
Yeah,
about to
that's
say.
that was a big save. I was like, okay, maybe I can like get this done before the third hour.
it also looks very cool against the Profound Darkness backdrop.
Yes,
hmm
that it does.
Ugh. And I was trying to like, I was like, okay, where's my barrier? I was like, after like I checked after basement and where I usually go after Dizolis, I was like, do I really have to grind at Soldier Island just to get my levels up to get barrier decently?
Yeah, that's at least one thing. Why did I not stop the timer? It's like I stopped the timer for you guys, but I did not stop the actual timer. Leave it to me. This is what you get when you put me in control. All right, there we go.
That's
Uh,
fine.
232.05.
That was not terrible though.
No, you with the especially when you had to reset and you last saved at Ladea Tower and you lost that progress.
It was not that bad of a setback. I was like, okay, that's kind of a setback, but not horrible.
Oh, we were feeling that, and then you end up going back to Curran a lot later. But
Because I was kind of afraid that Dark Force would just, micro missile me to death.
yeah, that there was always that worry too, especially with no barrier. But at a decent level, you usually can just tank it or tank through it. It's usually
Yeah, but
solos that you have to worry about with
yeah,
without barrier.
yeah, yeah. But when I saw Demi, I was like, oh no! I was like, I need Ren, not Demi.
There's no guarantee Red would have had barrier either. So
I know. I was like, okay, there's no guaranteed barrier, but if Ren was in the party, I would have at least have a chance to get barrier at the barrier rate.
but
Oh,
other
everyone
than
survived and made it through.
yes, a very good race between the both of you. But other than that, we're going to wrap things up here for tonight. I would love to see more people pick this up. Quite a few people looked like they were interested in chat. I would love to see a league of this start at some point, but that will be a ways off, I am sure.
That'll be a ways off before that thing goes in full circle.
We will see how people like this, but I definitely both Chitin and Dumpster appreciate you both taking the time to run this. Graf, thanks at the last minute for coming and helping me with commentary. This would have been a lot more difficult for me if I hadn't had you there help me. And
It was my
Yeah,
pleasure to be able to hop on to help out here. It was a very good way to just get the brain. Okay, what happened to the randomizer? Okay, just trying to go through it again. I kind of treated it as I can be the idiot to ask you questions so I can learn, and also the audience gets to learn.
hey, I'm the one that made this, and I still asking myself questions like, "Did I do this? What did I do?"
Well, I'm crazy enough to go solo percent, so
Oh
like,
yeah, we know about you and your solo percents there.
hey, it's worth it though.
Big thanks to the Fantasy Star community as a whole. Definitely, probably would not have even have started this randomizer project if not for the support of everybody in that community. So, and also big shout outs and thanks to Game Boy F9 and RandoMania for allowing us to display this, and to the audience for the grand opening, a grand reveal of this randomizer. So, other than that, anything anybody wants to say?
I think if you're a fan of the game, but you don't necessarily consider yourself a speedrunner, I'll definitely get involved in playing these randomizers. I think you learn very quickly, and the people in the Discord, they answer your questions as well. So very nice community in all.
Their biggest question is Starboard fix your game?
But all I have to say is, I'll say this, no. Thanks to RandoMania for hosting us. Thanks to the Phantasy Star community. And Starbird,
Yeah.
I'm coming after your record on Phantasy Star for 100%.
I'd love to see it. Wait
Go
a
on,
second.
let's
I
try
still
it.
have the record for that. I thought someone else broke that by now.
No one has broken yet, man. No one has the guts. That's the problem.
Oh, I think they got the guts. It's just 100%. It's just
Hey, at least it's not low level percent. Let's be real.
I mean, yeah, this is also true. Other than that, again, I appreciate everyone coming around today, and I hope to see you all in the future.
Thanks again
Bye,
for putting this all together, Starbird, and for putting all this wonderful work into this project of yours, because it's definitely brought a very interesting discussion and thoughts to the game and be able to present it to everybody. I think I've enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you. We will definitely see more, so get that in the future. Today, I hope everyone has yourself a great night.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Right.